tickets for shows starting in September. Disney's The Lion King will also open back up in September, but it may take 2 years for tourism numbers to return to what they were before the pandemic. In San Francisco, where 70% of adults have been vaccinated, just 26 new COVID cases were reported yesterday.
I'm Jim Moran in San Bernardino, where the staff here at Loma Linda University Medical Center is celebrating a milestone today. For the first time in more than a year, they have 0 COVID patients. That's an extraordinary turnaround considering that in January they had 200. The numbers here in California are so good, health officials predict the state could reach herd immunity by June 15th.
Medical experts say vaccines are the key to getting the nation up and running again. And they're blasting Fox News' Tucker Carlson for raising questions about the vaccination program.
A total of 3,362 people apparently died after getting the COVID vaccine in the United States. 3,362. That's an average of roughly 30 people every day.
It's absolutely 100% false.
Doctors say Carlson is using unreliable data for his claims. And all hail our nation's nurses. Happy Nurses Day! It's National Nurses Day, and many are taking to social media to celebrate the heroes of the pandemic. Nurses in New York were given the red carpet treatment, a well-deserved thank you.
And as a thank you for all those long shifts, Dunkin' Donuts gave out free coffee today to nurses and other healthcare workers. If you're a business owner trying to hire workers, you already know this. It is hard to get help. And it's really critical in the restaurant industry. Just as eateries are able to go back to normal, they are struggling to find people to serve their customers.
Restaurants across America are reopening, but now they're facing a new crisis.
There is definitely a glut of jobs and a lack of hands to fill positions.
The hospitality industry laid off 6 million workers during the pandemic. Now hungry diners are returning, but millions of unemployed cooks, waiters, and bartenders are not. Chad Reinhardt, owner of 4 restaurants near Los Angeles, put up this giant billboard seeking staff. His employees are working grueling double shifts to keep his restaurants open. You gotta be thrilled to be back to work, but there's gotta be added stress. You're working to some double shift.
Oh yeah, especially this weekend with Mother's Day, we're very, very busy.
The challenge for many restaurant owners is not only finding staff to come back to work, but finding people with experience. One restaurant owner put jobs on the menu, literally advertising for staff below the daily special. And Martin Robles is offering a $200 bonus for anyone who stays just 60 days at his chicken restaurant in San Diego.
They would say, I'm just making more money on unemployment. I'm going to ride this out a little bit longer.
The crisis has hit Las Vegas, where hotels are gambling on job fairs to recruit tens of thousands of staff. Fox Business Network correspondent Jackie DeAngelis.
So a lot of these employees are making more money to stay at home than they would be to go back to work. That's the first issue. The second issue is that schools are not entirely open across the country. And so for the parents who do want to go back to work, if their kids can't go back to school and they have a child care issue, then they can't work.
Some restaurants are even turning to robots. Yep, robots to flip burgers and make French fries, including some White Castles. Federal boost to unemployment benefits expire in September. That may ease the shortage.
We'll all go back to work, hopefully, in the fall.
And there's a shortage of drivers needed to deliver fuel to gas stations, which means higher prices. Gasoline, for instance, costs 22% more than this time last year. No bail for the Colorado man facing murder charges in connection with the disappearance last year of his wife, Suzanne. Suzanne Morphew has not been seen since last Mother's Day, and today her husband appeared in front of a judge after being arrested and charged with her murder. Officials say interested members of the public were critical in making the case. Les Trent with more.
Facing the judge, the husband accused of murdering his wife last Mother's Day. Barry Morphew appeared at his first court hearing today wearing an orange and white striped prison uniform and mask. His ankles were shackled. His wife of 26 years, Suzanne, vanished a year ago in Colorado after he says she went on a bike ride and never came home. The 52-year-old was taken into custody on the side of the highway by sheriff's deputies. An arrest captured by a passing motorist. There's Morphew wearing a hat and long pants. For the last year, Morphew has been under suspicion by police, his wife's family, and a small army of citizen sleuths who have been obsessed with the case. One guy secretly recorded a conversation he had with Morphew as they searched for Suzanne's remains.
I mean, we were really upset that first night. I was in Denver, so you were. I didn't get here until 9 o'clock that night.
Morphew even offered up one bizarre theory about what may have happened to his wife.
The first night there was a mountain lion with officers seen that walked by the car, so we thought maybe she got attacked by a lion.
Chris McDonough is a former homicide detective who hosts a podcast that featured the missing mom investigation. He says there's one telling detail from the video Morphew posted on Facebook pleading for help. The way he shook his head.
I will do whatever it takes to get you back. I love you. I want you back so bad.
That body language is obviously inconsistent with what was coming out of his mouth. For him, this, while saying we're looking for you and doing this, it just doesn't line up.
Let me see if the link
was 150 miles away in Denver, attending a training session for volunteer firefighters and staying at a Holiday Inn Express when his wife disappeared.
Let me see if I can figure out why.
My wife.
Morphew's two daughters are sticking by their dad, apparently refusing to believe that he had anything to do with the slaying of their mother. They were inside the courtroom today where they made a heart-shaped sign of support with their hands and mouthed, "I love you." Suzanne's sister, Melissa Mormon, spoke to local news about her nieces.
It's been well over a year and longer since I've even had any ability to have any contact with them. And I would say to Mallory and Macy that I've been praying for you every day and that I adore you girls.
1 week ago, Suzanne's friends posted this touching tribute video on what would have been her 50th birthday.
On your 50th birthday, I wish for you to hear how
It's
we
not
value
working.
your precious life.
The judge ruled today that Morphew can have contact with his two daughters if they want to see him. And that is disgraced 19 Kids and Counting star Josh Duggar being released from jail today. 1 week ago, he was indicted on federal child pornography charges. Now he's free awaiting trial. Emma Cagliano reports.
Josh Duggar walks out of jail today, but is allowed to see his 6 children only when his wife is present. The 33-year-old reality TV star made bail following his shocking arrest last week for allegedly downloading child pornography. The judge ruled that Duggar cannot return to the home that he shares with his pregnant wife and their children. Instead, he will stay with family friends who assured the judge they will have no Wi-Fi internet connection at their home. As a condition of his release, he is banned from any contact with minors not his own, and he must surrender his passport. An FBI agent testified that he found 200 images on Duggar's computer that rank in the top 5 of the worst that I've ever had to examine. Duggar found fame on the hit reality TV show 19 Kids and Counting as the eldest son in the deeply religious Duggar family. TLC canceled the show in 2015 when Josh Duggar came under investigation for allegedly fondling 5 girls in 2002 and 2003, including his younger sisters. He later admitted to a porn addiction and cheating on his wife, Anna.
Okay, the link is not working in this
Josh
one.
Duggar has
Let me
pled
put
not
it
guilty. His trial is set for July 6th. When you think of Florida, you think of sandy beaches and palm trees. But back during the Ice Age, it was a cold and frigid place. And some divers just found incredible proof of that.
It's the find of a lifetime. Evidence of help. And his discovery is so massive. When he surfaces, he urgently needs help.
Right behind me, over here, I have the mammoth leg bone, which is that
that
massive
worked?
bone right there.
Oh my God, can you bring that towards the camera?
Give me a second, it's rather heavy.
Let me.
Wow.
You can see it's still quite large.
So, what is it? It's the humerus bone of a massive Colombian mammoth. He's from the Ice Age. The humerus would be right here. This is a skeleton of a mammoth at the La Brea Tar Pits Museum in Los Angeles. Henry Sadler is a middle school science teacher. He found the fossil while diving in the Peace River in Florida with fellow amateur paleontologist Derek Demeter.
How significant a find is this? To find something in this condition, in this size, is pretty awesome.
They also found a tooth from a saber-toothed tiger, which became extinct about 12,000 years ago. Henry plans on keeping it in his classroom as a teaching tool.
And hard to believe, but it's been 2 years since Prince Harry became a father. That's right, little Archie turned 2 today, and his parents are sharing this new photo with the world.
It's baby Archie celebrating turning 2. The artsy image was just released by Meghan and Harry. Despite tension caused by their bombshell Oprah interview, the royal family sure seems to be embracing baby Archie as he turns 2. The Queen kicked off Archie's birthday greeting, posting this photo of Archie as the newborn. Wishing Archie Mountbatten Windsor a very happy 2nd birthday today, she writes. Prince Charles shared a photo taken at Archie's christening in July 2019, before the family rift was exposed. Happy birthday to Archie, who turns 2 today. Meghan and Harry will reportedly set aside their differences with the royal family for a Zoom call that will include the Queen, Prince William, Kate, and Archie's cousins, according to OK Magazine. Meantime, Prince William and Kate are taking a much more casual approach to life as royals. They've launched their own YouTube channel.
Be careful what you say now, because these guys, they fill
I know. We'll be back with more right after this.
Hello to the viewers and the replay viewers.
Chicken wire and gooey taste. You've seen the commercial. Completely dry. Will it really float? We're putting it to the test.
Absolutely flex-tastic.
Plus, star-spangled announcement.
All right, I made it back on the leaderboard. I was at 11, and I made it back to number 9, and you have to be 10 or higher to get a prize. So,
you think you're doing all you can to manage type 2 diabetes and heart disease, but could your medication do more to lower your heart risk? Jardiance can reduce the risk of cardiovascular death.
I'm going to, what am I doing? I'm going to open a Hula room so if people don't understand how to use apps, I can explain it to them.
Urinary tract infections and sudden kidney problems. Ketoacidosis is a serious side effect that may be fatal. A rare but life-threatening bacterial infection in the skin of the perineum can occur. Stop taking Jardiance and call your doctor right away if you have symptoms of this bacterial infection, ketoacidosis, or an allergic reaction. And don't take it if you're on dialysis or have severe kidney problems. Taking Jardiance with a sulfonylurea or insulin may cause low blood sugar.
Lower A1C and lower risk of a fatal heart attack?
On it with Jardiance.
We're committed to making Jardiance available and affordable. With our savings card, eligible patients pay as little as $10.
Some people won't understand why you get a fresh Papa Murphy's pizza that you bake yourself until they taste it. Other things will be harder to explain. For a limited time, pick up the Taco Grande pizza for just $13. Papa Murphy's, change the way you pizza.
New day, new choices. Choose Smile. Today, choose Smile that costs up to 60% less than braces. Go from this to this. Get started for free at SmileDirectClub.com.
We have to do whatever it takes to make sure that we all survive.
You see what I'm saying?
I'll turn the Hoover room on at 9 o'clock.
This is Small Fortune, the game show where overcoming the tiniest obstacles wins big cash.
This is hard.
It's a game show. That's what happens.
Don't talk to me.
Small Fortune premieres May 31st on NBC.
Abandoned pandemic dogs. Next, Inside Edition. Everyone wanted one for company during lockdown. 1 year later, why so many are being abandoned.
The families ran out of options on how to care for their animals.
Then, the bridge hero comes forward. The man who jumped into the bay to save a little girl speaks out. Watch the next Inside Edition.
You've probably seen that commercial on TV where the guy uses a white paste to seal up all kinds of things, including a boat. Well, we decided to give it a try and actually built a boat with it. And Stephen Fabian bravely took that boat on the water to see what would happen.
The commercial is everywhere.
Now that's a lot of damage. Flex paste. It sure seems like a miracle product that can seal up just about anything. A wine barrel gushing with water, a leaky hot tub. You could even use it to build a boat. made with just chicken wire and flex paste.
And the inside is completely dry.
So will flex paste work just like the commercial? We're putting it to the test. We got some help from the Grove School of Engineering in New York City. Chemical engineering professor Raymond Tu, along with students, helped apply flex paste to the boat, constructed only with chicken wire. It took 3 days for the students to smear the chicken wire frame with flex paste. They checked for any possible leaks using a flashlight.
Oh, stop right there.
If a light went through the paste, they sealed it up. After allowing the paste to dry, we brought the boat to Lakeview Marina in New Jersey.
Should I be worried, though, that it's going to sink? I don't think so.
Okay, we'll see about that. It was time to take the boat out for a spin.
I'm on a boat made of flex paste. Please don't sink. Whoa, big waves. Here we go.
So far, it's holding up. There's no water leaking in.
This thing's working pretty good.
The commercial says it's dead.
You're a professor. What would you grade the construction and the performance of this boat?
I'd give it an A.
Not surprisingly, Phil Swift, the owner of Flex Paste, was happy with our results.
What was your reaction to the tests that we conducted?
Absolutely flextastic. Loved it.
Woo! Okay, we're glad Steven stayed dry. When we come back, more Inside Edition.
Okay.
Still to come, Star Spangled Announcement.
I saw the light through sunshine bright.
Who will you make happy today? La Vie est Belle Soleil Cristal, the new fragrance. Lancôme. Choose your free gift at Macy's, the fragrance destination.
All right.
I'm Scott.
I'm Shannon, president of Dick's Auto Group. Working together as brother and sister can be challenging, so we made a pledge.
Be open and honest with each other.
Oh, you have something gross on your tie.
To follow our family mission and values.
And to spend time together outside of work.
We're partners in the success of Dick's Auto Group, but we're brother and sister first. That's what makes it work.
Most of the time.
Visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX. With Steel, the great American outdoors are closer than you think. Pick up at over 10,000 local Steel dealers. Real Steel, find yours.
The whole place looks amazing. I love it. Sophia.
Who posted that? Yolanda? Hello.
Thank you.
If you're on here and you have any questions, you can type it in the chat on any of the apps you're tuning in from, and I'll try to answer them. If you're new and you need to know how to use Haps, if you download Haps, you can follow people. Like, you can subscribe for free, and if you got 100 free coins, you can't send any gifts until you have 150. But if you check your email once a week or check into the app once a day, you get free coins. Or you can buy coins, but you can get them free.
This 9-year-old sang the national anthem during his school's morning announcements, and that has made him a star. Les Prince spoke with him and his parents about becoming an overnight sensation.
He's the 9-year-old blowing everyone away with his powerful pipes. DeCorey Johnson was so excited when his school, Bates Elementary in Louisville, Kentucky, reopened for in-person classes, he asked the principal a special question.
I asked her to sing the national anthem.
She said yes. So he got on the PA system, and boy, oh boy, did he ever sing it.
I just love singing. It's what God made me to do, and I'm following my journey.
DeCorey started singing in the church choir.
Whenever he sings, people bust out crying.
Oh, say, can you see?
The anthem is notoriously difficult to sing, even for seasoned pros. Was it a hard song to learn?
Yes, but I catch on really fast, like this.
And the kid with the big voice has big plans for the future.
I want to be a Broadway. Yes, I love Broadway.
A star is born.
Maybe I should make coffee. My vision is getting blurry. Maybe because of... Maybe my eyes are tired or I need coffee.
Okay, 9-year-old DeCorey, Broadway is opening back up and it is ready for you. By the way, DeCorey's favorite singer is a true music legend. It's none other than Tina Turner. When we come back, a very helpful boot.
You're clearly someone who takes care of yourself, so why wait to screen for colon cancer? Because when caught in early stages, it's more treatable. I'm Cologuard. I'm non-invasive and detect altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers, even in early stages.
Tell me more.
It's for people 45 plus at average risk for colon cancer, not high risk. False positive and negative results may occur. Ask your prescriber or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you.
I'll do it.
Good plan.
What was the question? How do you stay positive in trying times? And I said, it can be a challenge. Take a break, watch a movie, listen to music.
Okay, team.
Watch an episode of General Hospital.
2, 3, or 4 full-time jobs. Get her the perfect gift now at Macy's with an extra 25% off her favorite designers. Plus, get curbside pickup at Macy's.com.
Good dog. That's next.
So you just scored amazing savings at Ross? On brands that take you from me time to go time in no time. Get the best bargains ever on looks that work anywhere at Ross. Yes, for less.
With my hepatitis C, I felt I couldn't be at my best for my family. In only 8 weeks with Maverick, I was cured.
AMA is a popular way to engage with online communities started by Redditors. Example, Yolanda is a creative,
I was cured. Maverick is the
erotic storyteller and would like to use her knowledge and understanding by putting a question curious about erotic storytelling, 30 minutes AMA, ask me anything. He's suggesting that she do that. And Yolanda said, that's why I asked, thanks. And I said, he said, okay, haha, and then.
Or if you've had certain liver problems.
Sure, I said, who wants to play? She said, is it a game?
There's a rare chance they may worsen. Signs of serious liver problems may include yellowing of the skin, abdominal pain or swelling, confusion, and unexplained bleeding or bruising. Tell your doctor if you develop symptoms of the disease. Common side effects
organic gummy bears.
With Hep C behind me, I feel free. Yes, because I am cured. If you can't afford your medicine, AbbVie may be able to help.
When the world asks you what you're made of, tell them 100% char-broiled Angus beef, seasoned by hand, and a luxurious layer of A1 sauce. Luxury. If they say, that doesn't make sense.
His podcast has the word peculiar blend podcast.
Part of the Angus Burger collection at Carl's Jr.
Panda.
Feed your habit.
Get your spring on at Ross. Yes, with brand name looks and prices that say, it's on.
Yeah, it is.
Get this season's styles for you, and you, and you, with the best bargains ever at Ross. Yes for less.
$500 COVID relief cash cards given out by the city of Portland. We discovered a lot of these prepaid debit cards never arrived. Since our story aired, people are finally getting the assistance they need.
Yeah, but how do you know if they're all getting them?
I'll look into it.
I should call him.
It's news when you want it. It's on Instagram and Facebook. It's what's happening today with a look at your local headlines and weather. Weigh in, ask us questions, and vote. So we want to know, do you have your earthquake kits? Follow KGW on Instagram and Facebook.
Stay connected during breaking news with the KGW app.
Finally today, we bet your dog can't do this.
Thank you for helping, Marty.
Marta the Golden Retriever can't wait for her new bed. She even helps carry it in.
Okay, you got your end. I got my end.
Phew, she can't wait to take a nap.
Good girl. Thank you.
From good dog to naughty dog. What did you do? This woman returned home from work to see her couch destroyed.
This is interesting.
The culprit? Her 2-year-old pooch named Bo.
What did you do?
Someone is in the doghouse.
Bad dog. And that's Inside Edition for today. I'm Deborah Norville. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time.
All right, let's see. All right, 6 people. Hello from Mumbai. Okay, I see you. Did you follow me? I saw that you downloaded the app, but did you follow me? Do you know how? I'm gonna try to, like, if you click on my name, you can probably follow, like, if you, I'm trying to, if you click on my name, like, let me try and stop this.
This is
okay. If you click,
this is
if you click it, hello from Mumbai. If you click on my name, like, if you click on my name, you should be able to subscribe for free. And I was saying that when you download the app, they give you 100 coins, and you can't send any gifts till you get 150 coins. But if you check your email once a week or you log into the app once a day, you get coins, and you can use those to send them to a broadcaster. Like, so you can get gifts to send for free by checking in once a day. Okay, let me see. How do you follow? Let me see. How do you? And that's Woof Woof and Bear's picture on the screen. And I was saying my eyes are bothering me, and I don't know if I should, like, put coconut oil on the outside of my eyes because the air is really dry in here, or make some coffee, or both. Let me open my app on my phone and see if I can tell you where to follow someone. 6 minutes ago. Mumbai suburban, does that mean the suburbs of Mumbai? I don't know if that's where DJ Prashant was or not. He said that he got COVID, but he's recovering, and he's offered to donate convalescent plasma. And I asked him, what about your wife and your parents? And I haven't heard a reply yet. Because when he offered convalescent plasma, I said, did you get COVID? And he said, yes, but he's recovered. So I'm looking. My brain is saying, where is the app? I know it's on the right side. Are you still here? And there's also 5 other people here that could be tuning in from Facebook or my Facebook fan page. If there's another term for a Facebook fan page, tell me what it is. YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, and Twitter. And hello to the replay viewers. And allergy alert. I wonder what the pollen count is. I know that it's the tree pollen that's high. Maybe I should put my mask back on because it helps with moisturizing the air I breathe so that my allergies, it helps with them. All right, let me see. Can you still hear me? Let me see. I'm going to go to, I have so many apps on my phone because I live stream tech speakers also, that when I go to look for an app, sometimes I can't find it. Unless the apps decided to move around my phone for some reason. There's the Haps app. Okay. I'm going to go and see if, like, I can tell you where to follow someone. Like, in the list, like it says, I can join my own broadcast. Or people can join my broadcast. Let's see, coins and rewards. Top poster. See right here? I can turn on my broadcast. My own broadcast. I can like it, or you can give it a heart or a appreciate sign. Oh, oops! I said I was gonna. I turn on the room in the app, so if anyone had questions that didn't know how to use Haps, they could. But I forgot to go there 2 minutes ago when it opened. Let me see. Where's the meetup? I opened a Hoover room on that. I opened a Hoover room. You have to scroll all the way down for the ones from today. I wish it would put the ones that are live at the top. Okay, see, it has 1 like because I liked it. All right, let me see. Stop by and say hi, evening live stream, 1 new comment. What does it say? Hello. And I'm going to say hello back. Hello back to Uba. How do you say your name? Ubi A. And what country are you in? Let me see. You are in Mumbai. Malik. Malik. So there's 2 people from Mumbai right now, Malik and, or are you the same? Let me see. Okay, virtual meeting. Let me go in and enter the virtual meeting. Wait, that's going to Haps. I'm trying to go to the other one to help people that don't know how to use Haps. Where did it go? I scheduled it and I don't see it. Oh, that's for 5/7. Where's the one for today? I keep getting confused. Okay, there. The stream is live. Let me open the Hoover room so that it says nobody's there, but I'm going to open the room so that if anyone has a question, they can come in and ask. You are the only one in the meeting room. See the mask to see if it'll help with my allergies. Where's Woof Woof? Woof Woof will come on and say hello. Wait, Woof Woof's not going to come in and say hello to nobody. That would be not. There's no replay on that Hoover room. I'm going to turn on Anderson Cooper, and you can listen with me and let me know if
your work from home setup.
Mommy, David isn't playing fair again.
How do you invite others to the meeting room?
Who knows their rates before talking to a dealer with CarGurus financing.
How do I invite others?
That's from knowing the process only takes minutes. That voice, that's from knowing she has a personalized financing offer before contacting the dealer. That take charge attitude, that's from knowing.
Should I invite Elena?
The confidence of knowing before you contact the dealer with CarGurus financing.
What would happen if I invite Elena? Let's see.
Our mission here at CNN, and this comes first. You really work as hard as you can, getting the facts is critically important. To our viewers in the United States and around
What's it
the
going to
world,
do? Return?
We're not just a car stereo store.
It's not even letting me send it. Maybe I can't invite her. It's not. It says click the following link, but it won't work. Click. I keep clicking and nothing's happening. Cancel.
Located.
How do I invite her? I'm going to try again.
Look, if your wireless carrier was a guy, you'd leave him tomorrow. Not very flexible. Not great at saving. You deserve better. Sandy Mobile. Now they have unlimited for just $30 a month. $30.
No, it won't let me send it. What if I turn my phone to the side?
Delete it.
Deleting it. So break free from the victory. Xfinity Internet customers switch to Xfinity Mobile and
It won't work. Maybe she doesn't have an iPhone.
The nation's fastest, most reliable network.
All right,
Plus
I'm gonna.
CNN special.
Let's see.
What's going on?
Let's see what.
Modern Day's Anthem for the Ages, Sunday at 8.
Closed captioning brought to you by Mesobook.com.
We offer a free book on mesothelioma. Call for the free
Oh, I should say hello
book.
back.
So much more. Call 1-800-831-3700.
Good evening. A vote to expel Congresswoman Liz Cheney from the Republican Party leadership won't happen until at least next Wednesday. And yet today, on the 4th-month anniversary of a Capitol riot fueled by lies about a stolen election that wasn't, the person Republicans are coalescing around as Cheney's replacement was making the round, showcasing her fealty to the former president and the lies about that election and the riot itself, which is now apparently required for anyone who wants to survive in this Republican Party. This is Congresswoman Elise Stefanik on Steve Bannon's radio program, talking about the latest cause du jour for the far right, a hyper-partisan so-called audit some of them believe could overturn the results of the election in Arizona.
That audit is a waste of money.
I fully support the audit in Arizona. We want transparency and answers for the American people. What are the Democrats so afraid of? The voters in Arizona and the state Senate in Arizona pursued this audit. I fully support it. Transparency is a good thing. We need to fix these election security issues going into the future.
Now, for the record, this really has nothing to do with election security. There were no widespread security issues, no widespread voter fraud, at least not according to the Republicans. Again, Republicans who run the state's largest county where the audit in Arizona is being held. And not according to the Secretary of State, Katie Hobbs, who runs elections and who told us on the program last night that observers of this so-called audit are concerned because, quote, there's not consistency in how they're putting the counts together and that they're seeing, quote, procedures being changed midstream. She's not the only one concerned enough to put this in a letter to the auditors either. The Justice Department has issued a warning saying that the audit could be in violation of federal voting and civil rights laws. At issue is whether the ballots and other election materials are even safe in the hands of the auditors. That's one of the issues, as we reported on the program last night. One of the people allegedly counting ballots is a guy who was caught on camera standing on the steps of the Capitol during the attack. They're also worried about canvassing efforts, checking up on voters to see if they do live where they say, and the potential for voter intimidation. Now, Congresswoman Stefanik, who once worked in the George W. Bush White House, may actually believe this is a legitimate audit, or she may simply be currying favor with the former president and his supporters. Sources tell CNN that some conservative members of Congress are concerned because Stefanik is not conservative enough. One conservative action group called her a liberal, far less conservative than Liz Cheney, the woman she hopes to replace. But she has been called a star by the former president, and she has certainly returned the love. And as one prominent conservative activist who spoke to CNN anonymously said, quote, that is all that counts these days. Here she is again on Steve Bannon's show.
My vision is to run with support from the president and his coalition of voters. This is also about being one team. And I'm committed to being a voice and being sending a clear message that we are one team. And that means working with the president and working with all of our excellent Republican members of Congress.
By the way, the president she's referring to is the former president. She talks of him as though he did not lose the election, and that is what it takes to rise in the Republican ranks these days. Buy into the big lie, to borrow that phrase from an anonymous conservative. That's all that counts these days, buying into the big lie. Perspective now on the message this sends, and the Congresswoman spreading it from someone who has served alongside her, New York Democratic Congresswoman Kathleen Rice. Congresswoman, thanks so much for being with us. What signal do you think House Republicans are sending if they oust, Representative Cheney from her leadership post in favor of Representative Stefanik?
Well, thank you for having me, Anderson. And the signal is a very clear one, that the Republican Party in this country is completely co-opted and owned by Donald Trump. That's it. I thought that there was maybe going to be some hope in the aftermath of what happened on January 6th with the insurrection, where the majority of Republicans, as we were hunkering down, trying to find safe places to be, were saying, this is ridiculous, we have to stop this charade. But they have all found their way down to Mar-a-Lago to kiss the ring of Donald Trump. And when there were some hopes that maybe a Republican Party that used to be the party of George Bush, Ronald Reagan, etc., John McCain, is now a party of a cult of one, and that's Donald Trump. And look, this should not just concern traditional Republicans who do not like the direction that Kevin McCarthy is taking House Democrats and the Republican Party writ large in. It should affect every single American, because the premise of the Republican Party, as Kevin McCarthy is defining it right now, is based on a lie. The big lie, right? That is what it's based on. They don't believe in facts anymore. They just believe in lies and mis and disinformation. And what they're going to do to Liz Cheney, who, by the way, is a colleague of mine whom I like very much. We don't agree on much. She is a true conservative. It's just outrageous what they're about to do to her next week. And it should concern every single American.
I mean, I've said this repeatedly, but I do think it's a really important point that our democracy relies on there being, in our case, two parties that battle over ideas and that disagree and have good arguments and come up with solutions or don't come up with solutions, but it's based on facts and it's based on actual ideas as opposed to just a cult of personality. That's something we haven't seen before, and that is what the Republican Party now, sadly, is completely buying into.
Well, you know what the ironic thing is, too, Anderson? I came into Congress with Elise Stefanik. She is not just my colleague, but she's also a fellow New Yorker. The Elise Stefanik of 2014, when we both first ran for Congress, doesn't even remotely resemble the Elise Stefanik of 2021.
How so?
If you look at her voting record, first of all, and this is not me saying it, it's Club for Growth. This is the most conservative organization there is out there, who basically branded her a liberal, especially when you compare her voting record to that of Liz Cheney. She was a moderate Republican when she ran in 2014. She has taken a complete turnaround, and complete. I don't even know if it's kind of an insult to say that she drank the Kool-Aid. I mean, it's so much worse than that. And the fact that she is, getting this power grab and convincing her colleagues to support her by perpetuating the lie, whether it's the recount in Arizona or all of this other stuff. I mean, it's just unbelievable, and it should concern everyone. Look, Washington is full of people who are just solely ambitious for themselves. I never thought that Elise was like that. She wasn't back in 2014, but that is what she has become, and that is basically what the entire Republican Party has become.
It's about staying in power. It's about, whatever your principles were, put that aside, kind of tell yourself, oh, it's not that big a deal, no matter how bad it can get, it's not going to really hurt democracy. But, we saw an attack on the Capitol. If after an attack on the Capitol by Americans doesn't do it, I don't know what will.
Well, look, I hate to say this, but, history has a way of repeating itself. And when you think you're safe, you turn around and you say, oh my gosh, now I'm the target. I just think it's so crazy that we couldn't get any Republican support for this final COVID bill that was supported by over 75% of Americans across the board. Not one Republican vote, Anderson. And guess what all of those Republicans are doing now? They're going back in their districts and they're putting out these flashy newsletters that are saying, look at all this money that I brought back to my district and all of you folks in my district through this bill. Oh, by the way, that I didn't vote for. It's just absurd. And what the vote that Kevin McCarthy is allowing the caucus to take next week, where they're ostensibly going to get rid of Liz Cheney, is basically Kevin McCarthy saying to the American people, guess what? The Republican Party is no longer about you or this country. It is solely about Donald Trump.
Congresswoman Kathleen Rice, I appreciate your time. Thank you. Joined down by John Kasich, Republican, who's a member of Congress from Ohio before serving as governor. Abby Phillip, our senior political correspondent and anchor of Inside Politics Sunday. Governor Kasich, what do you think the consequences are going to be if and when Liz Cheney is ousted in favor of Elise Stefanik or somebody else?
Anderson, they better be careful, because you could create an insurgency inside the party. If they throw Liz Cheney out of that leadership job, you think she's going to go away? There will be people some will be openly for her. Others will saddle up to her. And I can tell you that when people stand alone, and I said that many times when I was in the Congress, it's amazing how people will come around you. And Anderson, you said a number of things here tonight that I agree with. I think you were spot on. One of the most important things that you said was these days. Yes, that's where the Republican Party is today.
These days.
But where it's going to be in the long run, we're hoping it's going to change. One other thing that I need to mention to you, they just had a special election in Texas down in Fort Worth, and I noticed that the Republican turnout dwarfed the Democrat turnout. It's really interesting because the Republicans, even though they have no program, have a distinct possibility of winning the House of Representatives and taking control. Now, both political parties are supposed to be offering ideas to improve the lives of people around them. I don't see that now with the Republican Party in the House. So it's tragic, but it's also possible that they're going to win the House.
Abby, Republican pollster Frank Luntz was interviewed in a podcast in the New York Times this week. He said the former president's big lie is working, but he claims it's working for Democrats because many Republicans feel the election was stolen, that Donald Trump is basically telling them their vote doesn't matter when it comes to midterm elections. Governor Kasich is pointing out to this election in Texas that had apparently high voter turnout among Republicans. Is Luntz right or wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is why there are some questions about that assessment because, one of the reasons that Frank Luntz is saying that is because that's what happened in Georgia. In Georgia, as a result of former President Trump's election lies, Republican turnout, decreased and decreased and decreased in each successive election in terms of the people who showed up for the primary but didn't show up for the general, showed up for the general, didn't show up for the runoff. But I do think that there's another thing happening here, which is that the Republicans that are needed for a midterm cycle, who are the diehard, the true believers, those are the people most likely to believe most fervently in the big lie. They are motivated by this myth. And that might be the only thing, frankly, that motivates them right now, which is why you see the kind of turnout that you saw in Texas. And so for Republicans on Capitol Hill, they're trying to harness that so that they can motivate those folks to come out in a midterm election because other issues won't do it. And that is why I think that at the end of the day, this is the best that they've got. This argument about the big lie that is about Donald Trump is going to be the most important factor in Republicans getting their base to show up in the midterms and also to give them money, which is the other key to a successful cycle for Republicans.
Governor Kasich, I mean, if enthusiasm is so high among Republicans, what political incentive do Republicans actually have to back off the big lie strategy? It doesn't seem like there's any.
That's the problem. And I have to take issue with what Abby said, because even though Trump, I don't want to get into this election down there, but even though Trump endorsed this woman, it was pointed out in a Wall Street Journal, New York Times, somewhere that 2 out of 3 Republicans didn't vote for the person that Trump picked. Trump is dominant today, but he is going to fade. I'll tell you what's going to motivate Republicans: tax and spend. $6 trillion in spending by Biden. He was a guy trying to bring us together, and he's spending money like it's water, and raising all these taxes.
But wait a minute,
wait
a minute. Do Republicans have any leg to stand on anymore talking about fiscal responsibility? I mean, after the 4 years with Trump?
Yeah, Anderson, you know what? I do, because I was budget chairman who balanced the budget, and there are many like us. Bill Kristol, there's a lot of Republicans that are very concerned about this. But you're right, they were hypocrites for having spent all this money, and it actually started under George Bush when we had surpluses. They started spending money like there was no tomorrow. So yes, there's no question that if they complain now, they're afraid they're going to be called hypocrites. But you know what? Admit it. You spent too much money, and now we are spiraling into a situation where $6 trillion in the last year, and they want to spend more. And they're going to raise everybody's taxes. I mean, it's going to ultimately be everybody, believe me. So they do have something to campaign on, but they're so involved in, going, as Abby says, going down to see Trump and all this other stuff. It's silly because they could be offering a better and more positive agenda, which they seem unwilling to do because they're too caught up in trying to have some sort of a litmus test for people in the party. It's a disaster. But it'll change. Mark my words, it will change over time.
The question, how much time and what happens until then? Abby, you have Mitch McConnell saying 100% of his focus is on stopping this new administration. Odd that he used that phrase, given that they're also complaining the Democrats are refusing to work across the aisle. Where does Mitch McConnell stand? I mean, he hasn't said anything really about Liz Cheney. He's certainly not coming to her defense in any way.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mitch McConnell is trying to stay out of the way. It was interesting last week to see McConnell starting to talk about one of Trump's favorite pet projects, which is stopping the 1619 project from being taught in schools. And it seemed to indicate that he realizes that there's an element of the appeal to Republicans right now that's going to have to also dabble in some of this culture war stuff that I think is very effective for the Republican base. But, McConnell is focused on his Senate majority. He's focused on obstructing a Democratic administration, which is what he attempted to do and said he would do for former President Obama. And so it's no surprise that that is what he's articulating. I think he views that clearly as his job. He wants to stay out of the fight with Liz Cheney and Donald Trump, but he wants to not speak up in defense of the truth when it comes to January 6th or in defense of Liz Cheney, who is someone who I think he has a lot from an ideological perspective in common with.
Abby Phillip, Governor Kasich, appreciate it. Thank you very much. More on the GOP divide next. Our Gary Tuchman is in Liz Cheney's home district of Wyoming, hearing what her voters have to say about the stand that she's taken in her opposition to former president. And later, have we reached a turning point in the pandemic? What about this upcoming winter? Could it be rough with another surge if more people don't get vaccinated? A warning from CNN medical analyst Dr. Lena Wan coming up.
I think the sketchy website I bought this turtle from stole all my info. Ooh, have you looked on the bright side? Discover never holds you responsible for unauthorized purchases on your card. That's my turtle. Fraud protection. Discover something brighter.
Design isn't just for designers. It's for everyone. With Canva, anyone can create professional designs easily.
When I found Canva, I fell in love with design. Now we're making more content than ever before.
Start designing for free at canva.com.
Challenging times. A video game? No. Gummy bears or candy? I'm reading the comments. Ask me anything. It's a sugar gelatina candy on the shape of a small bear. The red ones are my favorites. Yolanda said that.
In my own country, you and me more like you think.
Okay, I have some time before I get to bed. Let's play. Okay, we have lots of jaggery made homemade sweet delicacy here. What does jaggery mean?
Questioning how we run things in New York.
Perhaps how in their West there's cakes and stuff?
It's also another kind of justice, street justice.
We have Shira, but I love Halwa made of carrots. What?
For a
Halwa?
limited time, get free sheets and a pillow when you buy a select mattress. That's up to a $183 value. Purple, reinventing comfort.
What is Shira and Halwa?
We cannot be late.
There's a road right there. That's a cat. We just hold 95 please.
Seriously?
His name is Whiskers.
What happened to you?
All right, let's see.
Whiskers, there you are.
Subaru Crosstrek, the adventurous SUV for adventurous people. Love.
Called as
Subaru.
Gajar Halwa. I don't know what that is. Somebody requested help and community help. What does that mean? Let me look.
Call 1-800-SANDALS.
We have Shira, but I look.
Dual action. Fights pain 2 ways. It's the first and only
Coffee beans covered with dark chocolate.
Advil plus acetaminophen.
I like dark chocolate so much and all its benefits.
Acetaminophen blocks it. Advil dual action. Fast pain relief that lasts
Ice cream
8 hours.
mochi.
Ice tea. Stone cold.
I like learning new terms from you, Yolanda. Your company is full of excitement and learnings. So grateful for having you
My
around.
name is Ice T. Can you spare a few seconds to learn about cold water washing with Tide?
Yolanda, I love ice cream now. I'm craving for heat. I have almond milk ice cream in my freezer.
Because Stone Cold said so. Plus, Tide cleans great and cold.
How
Cockroaches are constantly finding new ways to get in your home, so stop using traditional insecticides to get rid of them. Get Zevo, the bioselective insecticide. It targets and shuts down biological pathways found in insects, not in people or pets. That's what makes Zevo so deadly for bugs, plus safe to use around people and pets. They've got evolution on their side, but you've got Zevo, way smarter than bugs. At select retail stores now.
Okay, at AT&T, everyone gets our best deals on all smartphones. Let me break it down. You got your new customers, they get our best deals. You got your existing customers, they also get our best deals.
And
everyone gets the deal.
Milk.
Question.
Ice cream.
But why did you use a permanent
in
marker?
my freezer.
Because I want to make sure you remember. I'm gonna get a new whiteboard.
It's not complicated. Only AT&T gives new and existing customers the same great deals on all smartphones. Get up to $800 off our latest 5G smartphone.
We reported at the top of the broadcast, Republicans already appear to be coalescing around a replacement for Congresswoman Liz Cheney as the number 3 Republican in the House. Earlier this week, Gary Tuchman traveled to House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy's district to find out what his voters thought about the congressman and the issue dividing the party. The lies told by the former president about the election. Basically, most had few problems with how McCarthy was handling the matter. Gary's now visiting Liz Cheney's home district and asking the same questions.
The splendor of Wyoming is plentiful. The number of residents is not. And that's why Wyoming only has 1 seat in the U.S. House of Representatives. So Liz Cheney represents every person in the state, like her or not.
Liz Cheney has proved herself to be a lousy representative with the voice of Wyoming.
And we spoke with a lot who are saying not.
Here's what Liz Cheney wrote. The Republican Party is at a turning point. History is watching. Whose side are you on, Liz Cheney or Donald Trump's?
If she runs again, I will vote for her opponent. Madam Speaker.
Conservative groups rank Liz Cheney more politically conservative than Donald Trump. And she has a lifelong Republican pedigree, a father who served as vice president. The National Anti-Trump Republican Group has put up this billboard near the state capital of Cheyenne, thanking Liz Cheney for, quote, defending the Constitution. But it all matters little to many in this very red state, who consider their Wyoming representative a turncoat and their ex-president from New York City a hero.
I think she needs to go.
How come?
Just because I don't think she did the right thing for the Republican Party.
She says that Donald Trump is lying about the election being stolen.
I agree.
Agree with what?
I agree that the election was stolen.
There's no evidence of it.
Well, eventually it might come out.
In this dispute, do you think Liz Cheney has the right to be angry with Donald Trump?
No,
Why?
because I don't think he's wrong.
Do you think the election was stolen?
I think it's possible, yeah.
John Curtis remains upset Representative Cheney voted to impeach Trump.
I read in the paper that she said she had to vote her conscience. Okay, maybe she's forgotten why she's there. Her conscience isn't why she was elected. She's supposed to be representing the people of Wyoming.
But there are plenty of people we've met here who very much like Liz Cheney's conscience.
I just think she doesn't divide her thoughts along political lines. She speaks her truth, and I appreciate somebody with that type of integrity.
Absolutely no doubt in my mind that Liz Cheney has the right answers and Donald Trump has the wrong answers.
Van Melblom is 95 years old and one of the relatively rare Wyoming Democrats, but she admires Cheney.
Because she stands for truth and at least, and a better Republican Party. And we do have to have two parties.
Thank you, Mark.
The Wyoming Republican Party voted in February to censure Liz Cheney. And here in the state's largest county of Laramie, the county Republican Party also voted to censure her. But that vote was nowhere near being unanimous. Do you find this discouraging, this dispute?
Yeah, I do.
Kylie Taylor is the vice chairwoman of the Laramie County Republicans. She was elected to her post in March, so didn't participate in the censure vote. She stresses the following is her personal opinion.
I think that you got to respect Cheney, and she's telling her truth and what she believes to be true. She's not backing down. She's not going out quiet. And I think for myself as a woman in politics and watching her as a woman in politics, it's something that I respect.
So does that
Hello.
not respect
Hi, Peter. You can follow me on here if you know. Do you
I guess
know
you could
how?
say that.
And Gary Tuckman joins us now. Are there any indications that Congresswoman Cheney may be in danger of losing her seat in Congress over this?
Well, I understand Liz Cheney certainly is in political peril, but there's no reliable nonpartisan polling taking place here in the state. We can't tell you a couple of numbers, though. In the 2020 Republican primary, she received 74% of the vote. You could bet big money that won't be happening this time around.
How you doing, Peter?
However, speaking of money, she's
What time is
raised
it?
more than $1.5 million
There.
in the first quarter of this year, which is more than she's raised in any quarter in the 4+ years she's been in Congress. And finally, this fact, 4 Republicans have said they want to run against her in 2022, but they would likely split the pro-Donald Trump vote. She would get the anti-Donald Trump vote. So the more people run against her, the better off it is for her. Anderson.
Gary Tuckman, thanks very much. Appreciate it. Up next, Florida's Republican governor signs into law a bill aimed at curbing voting in upcoming elections and invites only one network to cover the event. You can probably guess which one. Van Jones joins us on that. And later,
I'm clicking on your name, Peter.
The Capitol is using as the basis for his defense.
I'm subscribing to you. I clicked on subscribe to user.
Tonight,
and let me go back to here. I forgot to click on.
Thanks, baby.
I'm clicking on subscribe to user for
spicy like them vagina
the Pandya.
No wonder we still saying hello, Lenny 28. Wait a minute, I know a Lenny 28. Ooh, Lenny is cute. Can I get some privacy, please? Hi guys, check out this over here. What do you do?
So if you click on my name, you should be able to. If you click on my picture, you should be able to subscribe.
Oh, that's awesome. Make it new with New Finish.
One of my favorite supplements is.
I'm checking to see if I missed any comments.
Joints and inflammation support. Unlike regular turmeric supplements, Qunol Superior Absorption helps me get the full benefits of turmeric.
I dropped off the leaderboard, but now I'm back on it at number. Let's look. Number 9. I need 1,000 points to tie number 8.
Lowering payments, providing jobs, and investing in neighborhoods and communities.
Peter's at number 4.
We know what it means to put down roots and bring dreams to life.
At Loan Depot, we know.
Home means everything.
You want to know your greatest strength?
Boyish charm, good looks. Tom Clancy's Without Remorse is the #1 streaming movie in America. Tom Clancy's Without Remorse.
I'm gonna go back and look at Haps on my phone. I can't tell who's in here because Haps doesn't make it so you can see who's actually still here.
Ready for finals?
How could he be when he's playing only video games? There are definitely huge holes in what I've learned. Remote learning was so hard. Science and math, they go hand in hand, and
I'm looking for my Haps account again.
Just point and shoot your math problem to get step-by-step guidance.
Haps? Okay, let me look at the Haps.
Free.
I'm gonna finish strong.
Get the Brainly app now.
Activity
Make me
1.
feel welcome. Look at Byron out. I always say I have 2 birthdays. The day I was born and the day I did the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson.
You're walking, and in your head, you're screaming like you're jumping out of a plane.
Yes, I losing the virginity. The story of late night. Sundays
Let me look at my.
This summer, enjoy full comfort throughout your home with the new air conditioner or heat pump from A10. If you
4
purchase
friends
and install your
invited.
heat pump or air conditioner by May 31st,
2 more.
and the outside temperature reaches
So
96
Peter, did you add it
or
yesterday?
higher,
And did
PDX on the 4th of July, A10 will refund your entire purchase price. We call it 96 and free. But remember,
Let me look at
be
Wolf Wolf's
eligible to
account.
have your
Wolf
heat
Wolf,
pump
do you want to
or
look at your
air
account? It's not your bedtime yet.
Family-owned for over
Let's look
50
at Wolf
years,
Wolf's
A10
account.
Heating, cooling, and electric.
Which shows will you be getting into tonight? How about all of them? Netflix. Xfinity gets you really into your shows.
When one burns to someone who does not feel the same.
Ooh, Abby, let's switch. From live TV to sports on the go. And you can watch your DVR from anywhere. Okay, that's just showing off. You get all of this on X1, so go on. Get really into your shows. You need a breath mint. Xfinity. It's a way better way to watch.
I'm Whitney Wild in Washington, D.C., and this is CNN.
Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis signed wide-ranging legislation into law today that would install new voter restrictions across the state. Among the measures enacted are additional limitations for the use of voting drop boxes, new rules on who can pick up and return a voter's ballot and expanding partisan observation power during vote tabulation. Florida now joins several other states with Republican-dominated legislatures that have enacted new voter restrictions. The icing on the cake was this. DeSantis invited Fox News to exclusively cover the bill signing live, shutting out any other camera crews who wish to attend. DeSantis said, quote, "This is a great place for democracy."
That's
Joining
bullshit.
us, political commentator Van Jones, who served as special advisor to former President Obama. So, Van, after signing the bill into law in West Palm Beach, the governor said, "Me signing this bill says, Florida, your vote counts. Your vote is going to be cast with integrity and transparency." What do you make of that?
Well, I make of it, if that were true, you wouldn't have a blizzard of lawsuits from everybody from African American organizations, people with disabilities. It's the opposite of what he said. You had a secure election there according to the Republicans who run the state, according to the Republicans who counted the votes, according to the Republicans who certified the election, according to Republican judges who threw out, case after case. So this is not about securing an election. This election was secure according to the Republicans. This is about something much more nefarious. When you're talking about taking away the drop boxes, making it harder for people to do the mail-in voting, making it harder for organizers to help people get their ballots turned in, all that translates to is one thing: longer lines for African Americans, longer lines for people in the counties and the districts that are disfavored, so that people are not going to vote. This is about voter suppression. And the last thing I'll say is this: it was incredibly symbolic, as you said. You literally locked out everybody except for the most partisan outlet to even cover this. If you're trying to open up a process for voting, why would you then lock out the media, who are trying to cover it? You're restricting the number and kinds of people who can vote, and you're restricting the kinds of media that can even have access to the discussion about it. It speaks for itself.
According to the Palm Beach Post, more than 2 million Democrats voted by mail in 2020 compared to 1.5 million Republicans. It's pretty clear whom this measure is likely to hurt, as you said. What do you see the next election cycle looking like in Florida? I mean, DeSantis himself is up for re-election.
Well, I mean, it's going to be a fight in Florida. The reason I think that you saw what happened in Georgia happen is because it turns out that when the rules are clear and people have more access and not less, and people have enough time to do their work, Democrats and African Americans in particular can do really well. And so, and don't forget, in Georgia, the same thing. Georgia passed those voting laws. A governor who's Republican signed those voting laws. Republicans oversaw the election, certified the election, and they said, we can't have this again. And Florida is now preemptively preventing people in Florida from doing what they just did in Georgia, using the rules that everybody has that are more expansive to have a Democratic victory. And he's basically tried to reinsure his own re-election.
Van Jones, I appreciate it, Van. Thanks very much. There was a outburst as well as an intriguing line of defense introduced today by a lawyer for one of the Capitol Hill rioters during a video conference with a federal judge hearing some of the charges. The attorney for an alleged rioter named Anthony Antonio said his client had watched Fox News for months before the January 6th insurrection.
Florida is now created well. And so, and don't forget, in Georgia, the same thing. Georgia passed those voting laws. A governor who's Republican signed those voting laws. Republicans oversaw the election, certified the election, and they said, we can't have this again. And Florida is now preemptively preventing people in Florida from doing what they just did in Georgia, using the rules that everybody has that are more expansive to have a Democratic victory. And he's basically tried to reinsure his own re-election.
Van Jones, I appreciate it, Van. Thanks very much. There was a outburst as well as an intriguing line of defense introduced today by a lawyer for one of the Capitol Hill rioters during a video conference with a federal judge hearing some of the charges. The attorney for an alleged rioter named Anthony Antonio said his client had watched Fox News for months before the January 6th insurrection and developed a unique condition that led him to believe the lies about the 2020 election he had heard. The condition, Foxitis and Foxmania. And I'm not kidding. Joining me now are CNN Justice Correspondent Jessica Schneider and former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, a CNN Senior Law Enforcement, Foxitis, I'm sorry, I mispronounced it. Jessica, can you explain what exactly this outburst was today?
Yeah, Anderson, this is really the perfect storm that results when defendants for January 6th, they attend these court hearings on Zoom. And of course, it's during COVID. So normally all of these defendants, they would have been inside a courtroom. And if there was an outburst, they'd be restrained or taken away. But today it happened in court. And really the court and the judge, they were momentarily powerless. So this alleged Capitol rioter, his name's Landon Copeland, he was waiting for his turn before the judge when another alleged rioter's attorney used that Fox defense. So that was Anthony Antonio's attorney, but Copeland was waiting and he shouted out, "I object." And then he lashed out, he ranted and raved at the attorney who used the Fox defense, who criticized former President Trump. And this other defendant, Copeland, he called court officials evil. And, now the defendant who had been released, he was shouting this stuff out. He is now under court order for a mental evaluation. So it was really just a terrible situation in a courtroom, all held over Zoom, Anderson.
I mean, Andrew, a lawyer's defense that his client was brainwashed by a television network. Have you heard an argument like that before?
No, I've never heard one, and I certainly have never heard of one succeeding. While I have no doubt that Mr. Antonio was probably, his understanding of the facts and his outlook on life was negatively impacted by watching too much Fox News, that's not going to constitute a defense to a federal criminal charge. You would have to meet the qualifications of an insanity defense, which is, as you know, very, very hard to prove by people who actually have legitimate mental issues. But the real problem here, Anderson, is what this says for this population of Americans who still believe the big lie, who still see some glory in January 6th, and who will take those feelings and that divisiveness into their politics going forward.
Yeah, I mean, it is remarkable, Andrew, just seeing Gary Tuchman's report on in Liz Cheney's district, the certitude with which so many people have just bought into this idea that the election was somehow stolen, against Donald Trump. I mean, it's good, decent people who, have families and lives and are patriotic Americans believing something which is just demonstrably false.
And Anderson, why wouldn't they? Because they are hearing this again and again, not just from former President Trump, but now also from his acolytes and his flunkies on the Hill. You have the leadership of the House Republican caucus just daily talking about re-emphasizing the big lie. You have, you see it in this effort to remove Congresswoman Cheney from her position of leadership in the Republican caucus and replace her with Elise Stefanik, who recently has embraced the lie herself and has said as much on radio shows just today. So they are getting this confirmation of their falsehood, of this lie, from the absolute highest levels of their party, and it is that party loyalty they treasure over anything. It's really, really damaging to the fabric of our democracy.
Jessica, as we mentioned, this lawyer, what was the since I read it wrong, it was Foxitis and what?
I think that's what he was trying to say, Anderson. Foxitis, Foxmania, new terms for sure. This was the lawyer for Anthony Antonio, and his hearing was ongoing when the other guy came in with the outburst. But part of what prompted the outburst was Antonio's attorney really saying his client had watched Fox News for 6 months straight before January 6th, that he believed these lies about the 2020 election, that this attorney said were fed to him by Fox News and the former president. So, they're using this Fox defense. It's unclear exactly how this played out in court, if the judge may have bought it, because there was that subsequent outburst that sort of derailed the whole court hearing here. But it was something that this defendant's attorney at least tried.
Yeah, Jessica Schneider, thanks. Andrew McCabe as well. Thank you. Up next, the good news on COVID and a warning from Dr. Leana Wan on what may happen this winter if people aren't vaccinated.
If your money is working toward the same goals, why keep it in different places? SoFi is a one-stop shop for your finances, designed to work better together.
I'm going to check my Hoover room if I can figure out.
Toward your goals. Like investing in
Okay,
stocks,
here,
ETFs,
2 new comments.
That's better together. Or pay down your SoFi debt sooner. That's better together. And that's how SoFi is helping millions get their money right.
Arby's Market Fresh Creamy Mediterranean Chicken Wrap. Made to order, filled with roast chicken, nestled between freshly sliced onions, tomatoes, lettuce, and a drizzle of cool tzatziki. And if that's too much to take in, here's the shorter version. Ooh, the wrap's good. Oh, it's Market Fresh, baby. Arby's, we have the meats.
I've been on the diet for as long as I can remember.
I even cut up bread. Which part are you saying wow to? And if you click on my name, you can subscribe. I subscribe to you, Peter. If you click on my name, it should say, give you an option to subscribe. Which part were you saying wow about? The person that did that in the courtroom? I was going to go back to the Hoover room in case anyone was there. I'm going to check.
I'll take care of him. May I ask what your relationship is? I don't know. I want to have fun.
You are the only one in the meeting.
I want to not be scared. Hell yeah. Everybody needs time. Here today, PG-13, only theaters Friday. Start your day with all the support you need in Skechers Ultra sandals. Skechers teamed up with podiatrists using over 20 years of data to create a sandal that provides foot and arch support for all-day comfort.
Bo and Baron Wolf will go to bed at 10 o'clock. It's 9:47 right now. They go to bed at 10 o'clock in the spring and the fall. And Bear's looking at me like, I don't want to go to bed at 10 o'clock.
Get a second session free. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Conversations. Sometimes you agree, and sometimes you don't.
All right, nobody's there, so.
Conversations can create change. Let's talk. United States of America with W. Kamau Dow. New episode Sundays at 10 on CNN.
Ever wondered how a reverse mortgage can help your finances? If you're a homeowner and at least 62 years of age, a reverse mortgage from Director's Mortgage might be the answer. Let our local experts show you how you
I'm number 7 on the leaderboard right now. I was at 11 before, but I don't think I can catch up to 6. They're at 283. I'm at 152.
Take control of your financial future with a reverse mortgage from Director's Mortgage. Visit us online or call us to answer your questions.
My name is Maria Segoviano, and I work at Malala Elementary. Students thrive off of in-person interaction, whether that's with the teacher or with their peers. They feel loved and cared for.
Let me see if there's any more new. It says that somebody replied. There's like so many messages on this app that I can't find it.
The building because we want to move in the right direction. We don't want to regress.
Peter knows Mandarin and Japanese.
An indescribable feeling. When you're ready, we're ready.
I want to learn me wants to speak Japanese the most.
Story of late night. Listen on Apple Podcasts.
Konnichiwa, Peter.
Closed captioning brought to you by Mesobook.com.
We offer a free book on mesothelioma. Call for the free book and receive so much more. Call 1-800-831-3700.
All signs point to a turning point in America's COVID crisis. U.S. daily cases are at 46,000 levels we haven't seen since October. The CDC projects further declines by July, and that'll likely mean more restrictions lifted. That's the good news. Vaccinations are down 20%, however, from last week. There's concern that we may not reach herd immunity. CNN medical analyst Lena Wen warns that more people don't get vaccinated. We could be in big trouble again. She writes in a new Washington Post op-ed, quote, "We could see the comeback of COVID-19 in the winter of 2021. The unvaccinated would be at the highest risk, but even those who receive the vaccine could become ill with new variants. If enough cases develop and hotspots emerge, the U.S. won't be able to contain the virus and may have to resort again to societal level restrictions." Dr. Wen joins us now. Her upcoming book is titled Lifelines: A Doctor's Journey in the Fight for Public Health. So, Dr. Wen, I mean, there's obviously reason to be hopeful in the U.S. about the pandemic. Explain why you're concerned that this good news now may set us up for bad news come this fall and winter.
Well, Anderson, I'm very optimistic right now about where we are. I do think you're right that we've hit this turning point, and actually shows that public health has worked, because so often public health is about preventing something terrible from happening. We were going to hit this fourth surge, and we kept on talking about the race between the variants and the vaccines. Well, we've won this race for now because our vaccinations were at such a high rate. What I worry about, though, is that we are going to see a calm summer. I mean, that's the good part. But I think that those on the fence about getting vaccinated will be even more deterred from getting vaccinated because restrictions are going to be lifted and things are going to get back to normal. And they're going to wonder, well, maybe coronavirus isn't that big of a deal anymore. And what I worry about is that then we enter fall, winter season, people are going to be indoors. This is a winter respiratory virus. Those areas of the country that never came close to herd immunity could be hit again. And if we get variants from other parts of the world that are deadlier or that can evade the protection of the vaccines, we could really be in for another catastrophe. And so all that is to say, we should celebrate the summer when it comes, but we still need to increase the rate of vaccination.
I talked to the chief of staff of the White House in the Biden administration, Ron Klain, last night, and he said, I was pushing him on the decline in vaccinations. He said it's a natural decline, that it's not surprising that there, obviously there's a lot of interest at first, and once those people, then it's the harder to reach people, or people who are skeptical about it, and that they are, going out to try to get to those people and get them to take a vaccine. And we've seen some states, offering free beer or other incentives. Do you buy that this is just sort of an understandable decline, or do you think it's something more serious?
Well, I think it's both. I think the Biden administration gets a lot of credit for building the infrastructure so quickly, getting the supply, increasing the distribution. And at some point, we were going to hit that equilibrium where the supply catches up to demand. We've hit it really soon, in part because the Biden administration has done such a good job. But I do think that now the hard work really begins. It's going to be really hard. I mean, first, there are individuals who may want to get the vaccine, but who have other things going on in their lives. And so making the vaccine the easy, convenient choice for them, getting it to workplaces, to schools, to doctor's offices. If somebody's coming in for their high blood pressure or for a broken ankle, they should also be able to get the vaccine too. So a lot of hard work ahead of us, but we can do it.
Dr. Nguyen, I appreciate it. Thanks. I want to take you now to hard-hit India, reporting along with on CNN, 412,262 new COVID cases were recorded in India today. Highest daily surge since the start of the pandemic. Every single day for the past 2 weeks, the country has added more than 300,000 cases. That's breaking global records. Now, India has also reported a record number of deaths today, 3,980. It's a staggering amount of loss and grief. CNN's chief international correspondent, Clarissa Ward, is in India, and here's her report.
The cremations start before dawn, as workers still clean away the embers of the night before. Nestled on the banks of the river Ganges, Varanasi is India's holiest city. But it has not been spared by the vicious second wave of coronavirus ripping through the country. As day breaks, Matru Chowdhury waits for the rush to begin. His family has worked in the crematorium for generations, but he says they've never seen anything like this.
About 140, 50 body per day.
And what would you...
Every 5 minutes, 10 minutes after ambulance bring the body.
Officially, the government says that 8 to 10 people are dying here of coronavirus every day. The real figure is clearly much, much higher. Confronted with that reality, authorities have had to improvise.
Varanasi's main crematorium has been so overwhelmed by the number of deaths that the city has had to set up a sort of makeshift crematorium. You can see it up here. This is just for COVID deaths.
A steady flow of bodies is coming in. We get off the boat to take a closer look. More ambulances are arriving, bringing the dead and grieving family members in full protective gear. They are sprayed with disinfectant before they can begin the last rites. But there is no way of sanitizing the deep sense of loss. During the 2 hours we spend here, 7 bodies are brought in. Critics say the government has been negligent in its mishandling of this crisis. that many lives could have been saved. Nirmal Gupta tells us he never imagined he'd say goodbye to his father this way.
Has the government done enough to stop this second wave?
No, not enough.
Much more efforts were required, he says. Varanasi needed a full lockdown, but the government didn't do it. It was incompetence. The situation in the city has become so bad.
Which city?
That shortages have been reported of wood needed for the funeral pyres. Merchant Deepak Chowdhury says the demand is 4 times higher than usual. As long as I've worked here, I've never seen so many dead bodies coming in, he says. The last month has shocked me.
Is it true that you're running out of wood in some places?
The 3 main suppliers had run out of wood, he tells us. The local administration had to intervene. Death has always been part of the fabric of life in Varanasi. For centuries, people have come here to die. The belief is that the sacred waters of the river Ganges will help their souls achieve moksha, liberation from the cycle of death and rebirth. But the staggering toll of this scourge has shocked everyone.
It's a very bad situation right now. And every household is facing this. I don't think there's any family that has been spared.
Oh my goodness.
As the sun sets, the sound of the evening prayer pierces the smoky air. The next wave of the dead is brought in, and the cycle begins again.
12,262 new COVID cases.
And of
Record
course, you
death
mentioned there's a
toll.
lockdown there. Is that actually having any impact? Is it actually a lockdown?
So Anderson, the full lockdown was finally implemented back on Friday. It's been extended again to Monday. There is the hope that we're starting to see some of the numbers level off just a little bit. As you can see, it's another day here now, early morning, cremations already beginning. This is one of the most sacred and spiritual sites in India and one of the hardest hit cities too, Anderson.
And is there a sense from health officials this will get worse before it gets better?
I think right now, honestly, people are just trying to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. This is also the constituency of the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi. He hasn't actually visited here since last November, and there is a sense that people are grasping for leadership right now. But there's also a sense, and I really hope it came through in our piece, Anderson, that we have just been humbled to see the incredible dignity of people here in the midst of just horrible suffering, Anderson.
Yeah, it is incalculable. Clarissa Ward, I really appreciate the reporting. Thank you so much for being there. Coming up, Congressman Matt Gaetz is hitting the road, where he's going and why Marjorie Taylor Greene is going with him.
Oh, God.
This spring, experience the groundbreaking comfort of Purple, now on sale. For a limited time, get free sheets and a pillow when you buy a select mattress. That's up to a $183 value. You'll love our exclusive grid technology, which instantly adapts to your body, reduces pressure by being both soft and supportive at the same time, and regulates temperature so you don't overheat. Don't miss out on our spring sale. Purple, reinventing comfort.
CoQ10 is the #1 cardiologist recommended heart health supplement for people taking cholesterol-lowering statin drugs. I recommend Cunol CoQ10 because it has.
Should I check and see if they're on live me?
Cunol is the brand I
Let me look.
New projects means new project managers. You need to hire. I need Indeed. Indeed you do. The moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Claim your $75 credit when you post your first job at Indeed.com/home.
For people living with HIV, keep being you and ask your doctor about Biktarvy. Biktarvy is a complete one-pill, once-a-day treatment used for HIV in certain adults. It's not a cure, but with one small pill, Biktarvy fights HIV to help you get to and stay undetectable. That's when the amount of virus is so low, it cannot be measured by a lab test. Research shows people who take HIV treatment every day and get to and stay undetectable can no longer transmit HIV through sex.
Serious side effects can occur, including kidney problems and kidney failure. Rare, life-threatening side effects include a buildup of lactic acid and liver problems. Do not take Biktarvy if you take Dofetilide or Rifampin. Tell your doctor about all the medicines and supplements you take if you are pregnant or breastfeeding, or if you have kidney or liver problems, including hepatitis. If you have hepatitis B, do not stop taking
Why won't it let me
Biktarvy
open the
without talking to your
box?
doctor. Common side effects were diarrhea, nausea,
I'm clicking on
If you're
the
living
treasure
with
chest
HIV,
and nothing is
keep loving who
happening.
you are and ask your doctor if Biktarvy is right for you.
My name's Tahira, and I love Robinhood. Robinhood makes it so that I was able to learn as I went along.
I keep clicking and nothing happens. Why doesn't it work?
Hi guys, check out this over here. What'd you do?
Tell me how you did it.
Yeah, get a little closer. That's insane.
That's a different car.
That's the same car.
Was it already collected?
Oh, that's awesome. Make it new with new finish.
It's one of the greatest albums ever made.
Marvin Gaye, What's
Maybe
Going
there's
On?
nothing left in it.
50 years later, why is it an anthem for a new generation? A CNN special, What's Going On? Sunday at 8.
Now it worked. Gave me 1 coin. Let's see who's on. Who's on? Let's look. Becca Woods, Jedi, XO, Matt to the Vega. Let's pause Anderson Cooper for a minute and see what Matt has to say for himself. If this thing will load.
Lumberjack 101, welcome to broadcast. Harbor, long time no see. I haven't seen Harbor on live me in like 10 years.
Hello to the new viewer. Yeah, my name's Harbor on there.
It's been a long time. What's up, Harbor? Long time no see. How you feeling lately?
How are you doing?
Have you got the COVID vaccine? Have you got the vaccine shot? Just curious. I'm doing wonderful. Last weekend I had my second shot. Just before the weekend, and it put me down for about 24 hours. So I'm happy to feel a lot better. Illuminati, welcome to the broadcast.
I'm trying to. How do I get this? Let me see.
Like a thotty. Welcome to the broadcast. Okay, so come in and check out my bodies. Yeah, did you have the second shot too? How did you feel after the second one? Mine was bad, but I'm feeling good. It feels good to feel good. Yo, left net. Welcome to the broadcast. Are you still there? Are you still in the hospital? Thank you for sharing the broadcast. Fully vaccinated tomorrow afternoon. Ooh, be careful, Harbor. My second shot, I had a fever, like 102. My first shot was no symptoms. My arm hurt a little bit. Second shot, I had the fever, I had the chills. I felt weak, I felt fatigued, my bones felt like crackers. I mean, it was a mess for 24 hours plus a big headache. 24 hours. After the 24 hours, I was fine. Yeah, did you get to eat? Thank you for sharing. 98.8. There you go. Yep, those 99 temps. Y'all need to keep your motherfucking earthquakes that way, man. Did you guys have an earthquake? No.
Where?
Tomorrow, 2 weeks after the second site. Oh, you're having the next one. Nice.
No.
It's good that it's on the weekend, so be careful. Yeah, you had an earthquake? Yes, I'm stuck in. Oh no, did you get any food? Did you get food after all? Mental, welcome. Simo, welcome. Raul, Nicholsborn, Yusef, welcome to the broadcast. Chucky, Chucky Davis felt it badly in Reno. Oh, in Reno, okay. Not yet, I wish. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, we like earthquakes. I kind of dance to it. I got a little earthquake, and I'm like. We get a little dance going on. Little 5.0, make the move around a little bit. Little 5.0 makes my body move, you know. Makes my body shake a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Oh, snap, hope you get food. Yeah, are you okay in the hospital though? No, I got second dose 2 weeks ago, so fully vaccinated tomorrow. Oh, I got you, Harvard. I'm about a week behind you. Yeah, I'm about a week behind you, so 1 more week to go, and I'll be fully, it'll have fully run its course through my body. Thank you for the star points, Harbor. I appreciate that. I about freaked out because I've never felt one before. Really? That was your first earthquake? Oh my god.
Where was the earthquake?
We're talking to the pros over here. We've been through all the big ones. It's rare that I feel earthquakes. Really? Yeah, I don't feel them too often. If it's less than a 5.0, I don't even get out of bed. You know what I'm saying? If it's over that, then I can feel it and I'll kind of move around. Like the whole room started shaking on my bed and I'm like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is happening? Yeah, if you've never felt an earthquake, it's definitely trippy. I know a lot of people trip out when they come here. They feel one. It's really weird. I had one time. It almost knocked me off my feet. I was standing still, and it literally did this. There's no way home, and I have no mercy. It pushed my feet. Like somebody shook like somebody pulled the rug out from under my feet. Thank you all the star points, Harbor. I appreciate that. I still can't wait to move to Texas. Oh, you going to Texas? Oh, nice. All my exes are in Texas. I'm just kidding. They're not. Just kidding. Yeah. No. You want tornadoes? I know. Yeah, doesn't Texas have tornadoes? TJ transferred to a new plant. Oh, that's so cool. That's really cool. Used to those. So you'd rather have the tornadoes, not the earthquakes? That's what I don't get. People in like Kansas City and stuff like that, it's like, I don't understand how people could be like okay with tornadoes, but they're not okay with earthquakes. Like, I'll take my earthquakes here in Cali any freaking day. And you're ready for snow? Texas Bros. Yeah, Texas Bros. Did you see all those videos? Campfire stories. What's up with that? Oh, the campfire stories. You forget it. Forget I'm a Michigander. Michigan. Oh, that's true. She's used to the cold. That's what happened to Sherry. We were just kidding. Yeah. It's true. Yeah. That's right. She's used to the cold for sure. So you can handle the cold. She would be one of the people living in Texas at that time that was actually prepared and ready for that. So I think it's gonna get hotter there though. Snow don't bother me. Yeah, I think it's probably the heat is probably gonna bother her more than the snow. Yeah.
Hello.
All right. Okay, Elsa. Right? The cold never bothered me anyway. The cold never bothered her anyway. Hell, I've been chilling outside in shorts, right? Hey, she was able to write the word hell. How did that happen? She was able to write the word hell. Thank you for the sub points. I appreciate that, Harbor. Appreciate that. Juice Master. I'm special. I know. She can write all the special shit. The hell? What?
Hello.
I can write it. They changed it. Oh my god. You guys are all a bunch of special motherfuckers. Appreciate that, Harbor. All right. Wow, you guys are all special now. WTF? Yeah, we could always write WTF, but hell, the word hell, H-E-L-L, was censored until like just now in my broadcast, guys. You can only write it in my broadcast. From now on, you guys can curse in my broadcast. It's okay. Seriously, cuss. I guess Live Me allows it since they say it. I know. They're like, hell yeah, you leveled up. And then I write hell yeah, and they're like, block. Banned for life. You can't do it. Can't say it. In my bed.
All right.
In my head. In my bed. Hey. Yep. Yep. Hey.
Street Science, you're on here. What do you feel when you...
I have been broadcasting on HAPS. What is HAPS? HAPPS. Is that a new broadcasting application? HAPS? I've never heard about HAPS. Can't say F-U-C-K. I know, I'm just kidding. I can say it though. Fuck. I can say it. Oh, Periscope is gone now? Wow, Periscope was on there for a long time. Crazy. So HAPS is a new one. Wow, some new ones coming out, huh? Glockman 10mm. Welcome to the podcast, Glockman. Fear not going nuts. Your savior is here. Welcome back, bro. How you doing, man? All I can is the heart. The heart with the arrow through it. I tried to type it just in case. No, I know, Cass. I saw it. Haps.tv. They might have had a Harbor Journal. Got you. How's broadcasting over there? Do they have like cool animations and stuff? Hey, welcome to the broadcast. Apple, welcome. Drew, welcome. And RJ8. Inky, welcome to the broadcast. Everybody wanna see, hey, to live and die in LA. Yeah, you already know. Woo! No, but there are gifts. Gifts are good. Might be calling in tonight soon, early morning again. Me too. Working 4 hours. Damn! 16-hour shifts. Oh my god. You gotta work in 4 hours. Cass gotta get up early. I gotta get up early. You need some sleep. I need some sleep. But I'm hyped. Alright guys, I won't keep it up any longer. I appreciate you guys coming through. Don't worry. I appreciate you guys going. Yeah. You gotta go to bed, bro. You gotta go to bed. I appreciate you coming back though and saying what's up, man. And coming by, period. I know you're ahead a little bit. Yeah, he's dancing. He's like, hell no. He's like, nope. Yeah, he's dancing up now. Yep. You already know. Light, welcome to the podcast. Can multi-stream to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Periscope even. Oh, it ended. Really? That's interesting. 5 o'clock. Holy crap, bro. It's already 1 o'clock where you're at. Damn. Alright, one more song, guys, and we're gonna go to bed. One more song, and we'll call it a night. One more song, we'll call it a night, yeah? What do you guys think? I just have to claim another one here. We have to claim again. Wow, we had a lot of people in here tonight. He's like, I know. She's hollering at him. I'm gonna tell your mom. He's like, no, don't do that. What's up, Q-Man? Welcome to the podcast. Uma conta, Santa Para, ¿cómo estás? Mi amigo. Tired of working my life away. I know. He's like, it's time to party, man. It's time to party. So I go to Massive Vegas broadcast because I'm tired of working my life away. You gotta enjoy it a little bit, man. Are you off the weekend, bro? Do you have Saturday and Sunday off? That song. There we go. Hey. And I'm going to tell Matt's mom that he keeps us up past Alberta. Damn! She's got, Cass has all of our mom's numbers. Apparently. What? You're not off this weekend? Damn! 7 days a week, 16 hours! No way! How's this possible, bro? How can you be working that much? I don't know about you, man, but in California, that's against the law. We have so many workers' rights like laws over here. Yeah, Cass got everybody's moms on speed dial in case any broadcasters step out of line. She's gonna take us down.
How do we get out of this screen?
I've been working there this for 2 months, dude. You work like 2 months and like off for 2 months and then on for 2 months.
You're not coin thought. What?
Go back and forth? Damn. That's too
He
much,
keeps
man.
us up past our bedtime.
I mean, that's gotta be the only good part, right? It's a
What
crazy
does that
good money.
10 diamond
You don't even
mean?
have time to spend that money, right? I mean, other than your rent, you don't even have time to spend that money. That's crazy.
What does that 10 diamond mean?
Damn. Gotta find something else with the same amount of money, but with a better schedule. You know, less hours.
She's a VIP member? That's what that means?
So I had to chew it. Teach me how to duck 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 it. Everybody love me. Everybody love me. Everybody love me. You ain't messing with my ducky. Teach me how to duck it. 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 Everybody love me. Everybody love me. Everybody love me. You ain't messing with my ducky. The name is John. Yeah. But I'm losing all know me. Y'all know I'm from the west, but I can.
Hey, yep. I know, bro, yeah. That's the name of the game right there. That's the name of the game, bro. Is to get a work schedule that gives you that good, you need a better work to life ratio. You know what I mean? You need a better work to life ratio for sure. Work 16 hours, drive for an hour, sleep for 7 hours. Damn. That's your whole day, bro. That's your whole day. I mean, props to you, man. Props to you for getting through it. Just try not to do it for too long, because your body's gonna give out, bro. Yeah, your body's gonna give out. So, if you do find any time, try to find something that gives you closer to that same amount, you know? And like half the hours. Even if it's like 9 or 10 hours a day, you know? That would help you out a lot. And not 7 days a week. Fuck this bullshit. Yeah, that's bullshit, man. Otherwise, that job, they're just gonna work you to the bone, bro. They're gonna bleed you dry. They like to take young people like that and they just bleed them dry until they're done. And once you're out, they move on. They replace you with somebody else. Same thing with them. My friend was on 2 days of February, ice storm, because you sleep apnea. I'm like, oh no, the ice storm? That's no good. However, I'm sorry to hear that. Can't make 25 hours. Dang. Oh man. That's a lot of hours, man. So you're racking it up right now. You need to like save enough money to just chill. Save enough money to quit and chill for a little while. Take a break and find a different job. How's your truck? How's your truck? Have you done anything with your truck yet? Yeah, no. Yeah, how's your truck working? Thanks. Have to get a battery backup for medical equipment. Oh no, Harbor. Yeah, you should. Yeah, you need like a generator. Yeah, like a nice generator. Yeah, chill. Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that, bro. Well, hey man, you gotta get some sleep, bro. You gotta get some sleep, because that's not a good schedule, man. And I as much as I appreciate you being here, you only have 4 hours sleep. You're missing 3 hours of sleep currently because you're here. You're missing 3 of your 7 hours. Oh, a special battery. I got you, Harbor. Yeah, get what you need. That's his last song. He means last 5. I know. I'm going. Yeah. Hey, bro. I appreciate you coming by, man. Get some sleep. Let's end the broadcast. You can get some sleep. I know everyone's got to get up early, including myself. I got to get up early tomorrow too, but not 4 hours early. So, Libya's people, I'm gone. Take a day out next month. Day out next month. You're gonna be sleeping that whole day, bro. Oh my god. Hopefully you have some time to chill. Take some time to chill, bro. Just, and we'll see you next time. Try to enjoy your weekend, my friend. You gotta enjoy the time you can, right? I promise you guys, if I win the lottery, I'm gonna help you guys all out. So you guys don't have to work to the bone like that. 100%. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming in here. I appreciate that. All my tops tonight. We are going to shout out. We got Zombie, Lena, Jeff, Abso, Anthony, Too Legit to Quit, Mama Forever, Queen, Feared Up, Coin Thug, back in the broadcast tonight. Cash, Midnight Twilight, number one of the day is Witch Spring, number one. Overall, Cash number two. Living, welcome to the broadcast. Make sure you guys follow so you do not miss out on future content, guys. If it's your first time here, please don't make it last. Wave and sound that's coming in and sharing the broadcast. I appreciate you. We are done here. Thank you for the Rainbow Dawn Harbor. I appreciate that. And I hope you get your battery and everything like that. Yep, Witches Spring was here. That's right. It was a great show tonight. We had some great people coming through. It was awesome. So guys, thank you so much for coming in. You don't have to go to another broadcast, but you can stay here. So thank you everyone for coming out. We will see you guys on Monday. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your night. Enjoy your month, guys. We will see you soon. All right. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much. Yes, you did.
All right. Let's see. Did anything change in the kingdom? No. All right. Should we unpause the show? Derailed.
Sophia, whatever happens, we're here to protect you.
Thank you. There's no room for fear in your dream home policy from American Family Insurance. Insure carefully. Dream fearlessly.
Should I go check out? Let's check Hoover. I have one notification.
Well, let's get right into the news. Nothing could be funnier than that.
Former President staunchest and most controversial allies in Congress are set to begin a national speaking tour tomorrow at Florida's biggest retirement community, the Villages. Battle Congressman Matt Gaetz, under federal investigation for alleged sex trafficking, among other things, will be joined by QAnon curious Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene for the beginning of what they call their America First tour. Randy Kay had a chance to speak with some of the residents before their appearance.
The Villages is often called Florida's friendliest hometown, but Congressman Matt Gaetz may still get an icy reception.
Are you disturbed that he's making an appearance here in the Villages? I'm horrified. I'm absolutely horrified.
Chris Stanley and other Democrats we spoke with in this retirement community in Central Florida say they've had enough of Gaetz.
He's, by coming down here and really kind of doing a distraction tour and raising money.
You call it a distraction tour?
Oh, well, of course. A distraction, Democrats we spoke with say, from the allegations Gaetz is facing, including prostitution, sex trafficking, and sexual relations with a 17-year-old girl. Gaetz has denied the allegations, instead suggesting, without verified proof, it's part of a plot by a former DOJ official to extort money from his family.
He gets to say what he wants. It doesn't mean that it's true.
Even this man, a Republican, agrees.
Do you believe, Matt Gaetz, that maybe there was some type of extortion plot?
Based on what I've heard, no, I don't. And he said it's a nice story.
The problem is that this district is so heavily red, he could be reelected if he was in prison.
So you still support Matt Gaetz?
Yes.
Republican Israel Hall says he believes Gaetz so far, but wants to see the investigation play out.
They're allegations, and most conservatives we're concerned about cancel culture, where people get accused of things before you get a chance to defend yourself or go through the full process.
Fellow Republican Rick Carlins has his own doubts about the allegations against Gates.
If I was a betting man, and I'm not, I would bet that they're not true.
What do you base that on?
Anybody who's supportive of Donald Trump right now is under attack. Rudy Giuliani, Matt Gaetz. That's the cancel culture. It's what's going on today.
When his nationwide tour kicks off, Gates will be joined by Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. When we asked about her support of Gates, this Republican seemed to waffle.
Marjorie Taylor Greene says that she knows that Matt Gaetz has done nothing wrong. Should people believe her? Would you believe her?
I would tend to believe her.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is the queen of conspiracy theories, and she says Matt Gaetz didn't do anything wrong. Why would you believe her?
I don't know that she would know. I don't know that she would know that completely.
And about the tour's title,
this America First Tour, what does that even mean?
I have no idea, but again, it's a nice name.
If you were Matt Gaetz right now facing these allegations, would you be out parading yourself around the country?
Of course not. Because I would be trying to keep a low profile and trying to defend myself in a proper way with whatever my attorneys would want me to do. I truly find that embarrassing when I thought, God, who would even go there and listen to them?
Randy, what more do we know about this tour?
Well, Anderson, so far we have just one date confirmed, and that is tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. right here in the Villages in Florida. But Matt Gaetz has said the plan for this tour is to highlight the destructive failings of the radical left. That's an exact quote from him. He's planning to rally the 74 million Americans who voted for Donald Trump in the last election. But critics say that this is really just so Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene can get some attention, and it's really just a money grab so they can do some big fundraising. But here, when you talk to people around the Villages, like Trump, they have very strong feelings really on both sides about Matt Gaetz. One Republican telling me that he says that Matt Gaetz is a rising star in the Republican Party, so somebody is out there to take him down. So that's sort of what the thinking is here and what we're dealing with here in the Villages. But we'll see if he addresses this tomorrow night, because last time he was a headliner at an event at the Doral Country Club, the Doral Club in Doral outside Miami. And he spoke there, and just a couple weeks ago, and he said that he addressed them head on. So we'll see if he takes it up tomorrow night. Anderson will be here.
Thanks very much, Randy. Appreciate it. News continues. Let's hand it over to Chris for Cuomo Prime Time. Chris?
Appreciate it, Coop. I am Chris Cuomo, and welcome to Prime Time. Do you want to avoid another terror attack on the U.S. Capitol? If so, then you need to start paying attention to what is passing as leadership on the 4-month anniversary of the insurrection in the party of Trump.
I fully support the audit in Arizona. We want transparency and answers for the American people. What are the Democrats so afraid of?
You got the answers from the Republicans in that state and the other ones. You don't want transparency because the Republicans in that state are keeping the processes quiet. Maybe the fear is based on a reasonable suspicion of a farce to promote a fraud known as the big lie. But this is the talk that got us to that fateful day. Now, it is fueling the ascension of Trump's apparent choice to replace the highest ranking female member of Congress in his party, someone who refuses to repeat the big lie. And that is the sum total of the difference. That is the test. So now you see it play out. What will come of an audit carried out by a nowhere group called Cyber Ninjas? Go look up their website. They have no experience in election monitoring. They're using secret processes that the state GOP is helping them keep secret. They're pursuing conspiracies like fraudulent ballots being flown into Arizona from Asia. So now, literally, these ninjas are reportedly checking for bamboo traces on ballots. Buying into the big lie is now called supporting the team in the Trump party. We're better to make that pledge than in an interview with the poison populist and Trump pardonee, Steve Bannon.
My vision is to run with support from the president and his coalition of voters. This is also about being one team, and I'm committed to being a voice and being sending a clear message that we are one team, and that means working with the president and working with all of our excellent Republican members of Congress.
You mean a shill, not a clear voice. And listen to that, the president. Does she mean Biden? He's the president. No. She means to advance the big lie. Trump is the president because he's still in power, because he really won. And to be clear, even Stefanik knows this is just about the big lie. And it's the only credential. How do we know she knows? Because listen to what she said about Liz Cheney when she was up for leadership.
Liz, I was very proud to nominate you to serve as our conference chair. That is the highest position of women in the Republican conference, and we think you're a huge asset in that role. One of the things that you and I have talked about is the importance not just of supporting women candidates, but reaching out to women voters with our message. Can you talk about how you plan to tackle that as conference chair?
Well, thank you, Elisa.
She endorsed Cheney. Now she condemns her. It's all about the bona fides of the big lie. Conservatism is gone. Stefanik talks the big lie talk. She does not even walk the GOP policy walk as much as Cheney did. Just look at the voting record. This tells you what it's about. You guys that say, look, I got to say I'm conservative. It's not your party anymore. Yeah, well, look, I'm a Reagan Republican. I believe it. It's not your party anymore. Stefanik only voted with Trump 78% of the time over her congressional career. Cheney was 93% of the time. The Conservative Club for Growth panned Stefanik as not a good spokesperson for the House Republican caucus. She's a liberal, they called her. Ooh, how is that for good? 35% CFGF lifetime rating, fourth worst in the House GOP. So then how is she on the ascent? Because it's only about the big lie. The evidence is clear. Conservatism was in conflict with Trumpism, always was. The conservatives swallowed him because, and what he did and what he said, because they wanted the power. But now he has taken it over. He is winning. The party is increasingly about opposing anti-Biden policy, debunking the idea of systemic inequality, 3/5 compromise, that was good, and pushing the big lie. This is all clear. What is unclear is what can be done about it and what it will mean for our democracy. Better minds. Michael Smerconish, Charlie Dent. Good to see you both, gentlemen. Charlie, little perspective, person to person. You knew Stefanik. She came in, 2014, 2015? She was kind of like the new breed. Let's work with the other side. Let's do this. Let's do that. How did you find her?
I knew Elise when she came to Congress. I had been in for 10 years. She was a young, vivacious, more moderate, pragmatic, young millennial woman. And she could speak to constituencies that Republicans had difficulty with, women and younger people. And that was her brand. And she was very good at it. She's very adroit. She's very talented. She's very smart. I worked with her on issues like, I remember when Trump wanted to not allow the transgender to serve in the military. She led the charge to help stop that from happening. I worked with her on that. I worked with her on missile defense at Fort Drum. So I had a very good, positive working relationship with her. I saw her push back very hard in meetings with Paul Ryan when we would meet weekly to discuss policy and tactics with the Freedom Caucus, just a few of us. And she would join me in pushing back against Mark Meadows and Jim Jordan and Mick Mulvaney at the time. And she was very effective. But then once the impeachment hearing occurred, that brand changed when she became more of a Trump loyalist.
So what's her play, Mike?
Charlie Dent and I have Lehigh University in common. And I remember a first semester government class where Dr. Frank Colin said, remember this, political parties exist for one reason, and that is to win. And even though a lot of folks' hair is on fire, those who have hair crisps at these revelations and the way the GOP is playing this hand, it might be a winning hand. Don't overlook that, notwithstanding the fact that it's untethered to reality. 2020 was not a bad year for the GOP. Did well in the House, at least drew to a 50-50 draw in the U.S. Senate, picked up a gubernatorial mansion, did better in state legislatures than did the Democrats. Donald Trump drives that base, even though he couldn't pull it off. And I don't know if Charlie will agree with me saying this as an outsider, but when all is said and done, those Republican members of the House, they don't care if Trump wins. They care if they win. And he will drive their base.
So, Charlie, and at the end of the day, we keep citing this statistic, but we need to put it in context. It's 50-50 in the Senate. But the 50 conservative, whatever you want to call them, the 50 senators on the right, I still don't know what to call the party. I keep playing with it, represent about 20% of the U.S. population. Isn't that what this is really about? Isn't that what you see in a Stefanik? There is no momentum towards the masses. It's about this shrinking pie of white and often scared people being scared by politicians like her, frankly, and you got to hold on to that. So you have to play to it, and that's the party. There is no big tent.
Well, yeah. Well, I think, Chris, what you're saying is this: Republicans, too many Republicans, are trying to reject the diversity of the country. They need to stop fighting it and embrace it, and find ways to appeal to folks to vote for them. That's what they need to do. And when they talk big tent does not include Marjorie Taylor Greene, the QAnon folks, and these whack jobs on the extremes. I mean, that's not who we want in. We're trying to grow the party certainly on the right, but more towards the center. That's how you grow the big tent. And
who's we?
That's how that's what the Republican Party. We should be the Republican Party. That's what it should be doing to grow, to speak out, to meet with. Go into the communities. Like I used to have to, I'd go to Diwali festivals to meet with my Indian American community. I go to mosques. I had a big Syrian community, Latino festivals. I mean, that's how you go to expand your coalition.
Native Americans.
Talk to people and you have to vote for it.
Native Americans, African Americans, 3/5 compromise, Michael, we're hearing about. 3/5 compromise was a good thing. That's what's bubbling up from the bottom in the base areas. 3/5 compromise was to help end slavery. Native Americans, you know what is being said about them? This is the move in your party. I don't know, Michael left the party a long time ago. Charlie, you just left office, but it's your party. You're trying to fight from the outside in. You guys lost. It's over. I mean, that's what Stefanik tells you. That's what McConnell shutting up. Remember what he said about the 6? Horrible what he did. He can still be held responsible, Trump, even once this is over. Now, I don't look backwards. I look forwards. It's over. The question is, what is the price, Michael? What is the chance that going into the next election, they can get so many people so close to believing that it's all a fraud that we have something like January 6th on a different scale? Sadly, I think it's a pretty decent chance. If 70% of Republicans, that's according to a CNN survey that I saw, agree with this narrative, then they're united in that purpose. And I think it sets up a whole series of dynamics that are dangerous for the country, because people might not accept the outcome of the midterm election. And then where are we? If the successful strategy is one of Republicans sticking together on this issue and they pick up the half dozen seats that they need to control the House of Representatives, who'll be standing there thumping his chest and taking all the credit and setting himself up as the nominee in 24. That'll be Donald Trump. So this is what I'm trying to explain. As untethered to reality as it may be, it's a pretty decent scenario for him. Right. And it's about the shrinking number of districts also, right? It's really the politics of the redistricting, Charlie. If we look at the numbers, do me a favor, throw up that full screen. If you see from 2012, 2016, 2020, here is the breakdown in her New York congressional district. Put up the numbers, please. It goes from 52 Democrat, 46 Republican, to 40, 53 Republican, to 43, 54 Republican. This was opportunism for Stefanik. It is not a coincidence that she went from talking big tent to talking the big circus. This is how you stay in. This is the choice your party made. As Mike says, this is the way to win as far as they're concerned. Question is for how long?
Well, in her district, look, that's a pretty Trump district up there. By the way, that district, I believe, was held by a Republican for 100 years, except for 4 years from 2010 to 2014. So she's in a safe district. She did have a more moderate, pragmatic profile. She certainly has shifted, become much more Trumpian. The challenge for Republicans right now is that it's taken, there are illiberal elements within the party that are moving it in this bad direction where Trump is, on this kind of warm feeling towards autocracy, feelings of this protectionism and nativism, all the things we've talked about many times. That is the challenge in the party. How do you move away from that? And we need to get principled leaders in the party standing up, like Liz Cheney, talking about rule of law. And by the way, newsflash, there's going to be an announcement pretty soon. A lot of us are putting together principles about what a center-right movement should look like that embraces tolerance, that embraces the constitutional order, and all the things that we ought to be standing for as a center-right country and a center-right party.
Well, look, I'll tell you what. I'm not in the partisan game, although I do believe there should be more than two parties. I'll tell you where you should start with your principles. Fair elections and fan out all over the country, because I'm telling you, that's where this is headed. Smirk and I, on our radio shows and here, are going to be talking in the midterm elections about how people don't trust the vote all over the country because of exactly what Stefanik and the rest of these voices are doing right now. Charlie, I got to jump. I look forward to hearing what the slate of proposals are. You're always welcome to argue it here. And Smirk, you're just a gift. Thank you very much. The Trump party. The Trump party is, I'm telling you, you just have to look at what's happening. This is not my musing, okay? This is not how I feel. This is demonstrable as fact. Stefanik making the shift is pragmatic. The Trump party is about election suppression. They are going to say the last election was fugazi, it was false. So we have to make changes to make it fair. And every change that's being made is to undo something that got more people to vote. Florida's governor made a show of it on Trump State TV this morning. The latest effort to restrict voting rights was in Florida, now Texas, okay? Two of the biggest states in the country. A former Texas elections chief on why this is happening. Next.
Oh, that spin class was brutal. Well, you can try using Buick's massaging seat. Ooh, yeah, that's nice. Can I use Apple CarPlay to put some music on? Sure. It's wireless. It's something we all like. Okay, hold on. What's your Buick's Wi-Fi password? Buick Envision 2021. Or you should pick something stronger. It's really predictable. That's a really tight spot. Sorry, I used to hate parallel parking. Me too. Hey.
Really outdid yourself.
Yes, we did.
The all-new Buick Envision, an SUV built around you. All of you.
This is Joe. He used to have bad breath. Now he uses a capful of TheraBreath Fresh Breath Oral Rinse to keep his breath smelling great all day long. TheraBreath. It's a better mouthwash at Walmart, Target, and other fine stores.
Dignity. It demands a rapid COVID test. Because we all deserve an answer. It demands your heart stays connected to your doctor, so you know it's beating as it should. And a rapid test to help evaluate concussion in case something happens. At Abbott, we fight for these moments, developing life-changing technologies because dignity demands it.
This is how you become the best.
Don't get mad. Get E-Trade. So what's going on?
I'm a talking dog.
The other issue?
Oh, I'm scratching like crazy.
You've got some allergic itch with skin inflammation. Apoquel can work on that itch in as little as 4 hours, whether it's a new or chronic problem. And Apoquel's treated over 9 million dogs.
Nice. And the talking dog thing?
Is it bothering you?
No, itching like a dog is bothering me.
Until dogs can speak for themselves, you have to. When allergic itch is a problem, ask for Apoquel. Apoquel is for the control of itch associated with allergic dermatitis and the control of atopic dermatitis in dogs. Do not use Apoquel in dogs less than 12 months old or those with serious infections. Apoquel may increase the chances of developing serious infections and may cause existing parasitic skin infestations or pre-existing cancers to worsen. Immune neoplasias were observed in clinical studies and post-approval. Most common side effects are vomiting and diarrhea. Feeling better?
I'm speechless. Thanks for the Apoquel.
That's what friends are for. Ask your veterinarian for Apoquel. Now Next to you, Apoquel is a dog's best friend.
When did you see the sign?
When I needed to create a better visitor experience.
Improve our workflow. Track your customers. That's when Fast Signs recommended food crafters.
Yeah, now business is rolling in. Get started at fastsigns.com.
Did you know you can go to libertymutual.com to customize your car insurance so you only pay for what you need?
Really? I didn't. Okay, I'm on by basis.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
I spent months looking for a job. I got nowhere. This helped me deal with that frustration. Things changed when I tried ZipRecruiter because it works like a free personal recruiter. ZipRecruiter sent me great jobs. I applied with a click. Some companies even invited me to apply. I started a new job last week. This still helps.
Go to ZipRecruiter.com and put ZipRecruiter to work for you.
I really hope you understand what the point of discussing this shift on the right is about. It's not incrementalism. It's not inside the bubble. It's not just about political parlor talk. I'm not into any of that. And you should know that by now. This is about what is coming next. And this isn't about some kind of apocalyptic fear. I'm telling you, they're going to attack the election process going into it because the numbers are working against them on the right. The big lie is being worked into wisdom. It started as laughable, I'll give you that, especially with Republicans validating and certifying the votes in their own states. I got it, but not anymore. With repetition and electeds on the right at the federal level fueling it, it is now becoming law. You see those Vox Pop places where they talk to people on the street and they say, well, what do you think about the election? Well, I think Biden lost. Well, how do you know? Well, we'll see. Now, what's the next step? You say it's true, now you make it true. How? Law. Governor DeSantis of Florida joined Republicans in Arkansas, Georgia, Iowa, Utah by signing a law to restrict voting access. Okay? I could show you him signing it, but as his office said, quote, it was an exclusive live stream event with Fox. Tonight, it is Texas putting on a show. The House voting on a bill that, among other things, creates one set of rules for big Democratic counties and one set for the rest of the state. The key is to remove whatever seemed to drive turnout in the last election in places like Houston, you know, where minorities live in big numbers. Like what? Like drive-through voting, using arenas as voting centers. Keep in line, keep them there, nice and long lines, hot. Waiting is going to be the new poll tax, a price that seems like it's race neutral because it's about money, it's not about color. But you're going to have to pay that price to exercise your right to vote, and you're going to wait, if you're a minority, any chance they can make it happen. My next guest knows the reality in Texas. His name is Ron Kirk. He used to be the Secretary of State and the mayor of Dallas. Ambassador, welcome to Primetime. Do I have any of this wrong?
Chris, I don't know how much more I can add. I mean, you couldn't have made it plainer and more honest than you did. And the reality in all of these states, Georgia, Florida, all those you mentioned, in Texas, we are not solving a problem. This is not about correcting any flaws that were in the previous election. And this is not about voter ID. Republicans have done a pretty good job of making this about ID. If I had one more person say, I've got to show an ID to get on a plane, why can't I just vote? We already have some of the most restrictive voting laws in the state. This is precisely what you said, to make it more difficult for people of color, for poor people, But I think it's also going to make it more difficult for many of our senior citizens, Chris, who very much enjoy the privilege of either voting by mail or voting early. And it's all so that the Republicans can not only keep the advantage that they already have in Texas, but they are trying to breathe life into the lie that Donald Trump continues to feed to his base, that somehow the last election was stolen from him.
Now, one of the mistakes that is sometimes made in combating these conspiracy theories is we don't repeat it enough. Part of the weaponization of a conspiracy theory is repeating it. So some things bear repeating. They say transparency. Transparency is, I know who you are. So you show an ID, and everybody has a driver's license. Why does something that sounds so simple wind up creating a problem in communities of color?
Well, the reality is they've already done that, Chris. We already had voter ID requirements in just about every one of these states. Now, the reality is there are states, particularly in the South. My mother and father weren't born in a hospital. Most Black and Mexican Americans weren't, because they weren't allowed to be. And so they didn't have birth certificates in some cases. Then you couldn't get a driver's license. But I want to be clear, this is not about the voter ID requirements. We've already fought that battle.
They say it's about safety. And that's what I want to talk about. Here's the second prong. No, Ron, you got it wrong. It's about safety. See, and safety and security means got to shorten some of these periods. We'll make it, give you some time, but shorter, fewer places to drop it off, fewer people who can get it from other people and deliver it, because that's safer. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to, make it so that people can't use fraud here. What do you say?
Well, according to the Republicans' own Attorney General, Bill Barr, Donald Trump's own data security expert whom he fired for saying the last election was the safest and one of the most secure elections we've ever had. This isn't about that. And Chris, I've got a very real concern, having grown up in the South, having seen firsthand what my parents had to endure to vote. The combination of what we're doing in Texas with our legislature almost unfathomably about to pass something called constitutional carry. What we saw in our country on January the 6th at our nation's capital may become the norm among quote unquote Republican poll watchers who are going to be armed to the teeth. This is simply about creating an environment that makes it more difficult for people of color to vote, and it's going to bring an element of intimidation, the likes of which we haven't seen since the 1950s and Jim Crow.
I heard the other day someone said, yeah, they should carry weapons because that'll make them safe and it'll keep them really safe from the threat, which is people coming to vote. And that's what they want. Fewer people to vote. Ambassador Ron Kirk, we will not leave this alone. Every time a law is put up, we will show what it is and we will show what it is not. And you are welcome here, sir.
Well, Chris, thank you for everything that you or CNN are doing to keep this in front of the American public.
That's the job. Be well.
Thank you, my friend.
Do you remember how the Retrumplicans voted on pandemic relief? I do. It's an easy number to remember. 0 voted to pass Biden's aid package for millions of struggling Americans. So, okay, so what? Did you hear what they're saying now about it? Bolo, next.
Hey, Lily, I need a new wireless plan for my business, but all of my employees need something different.
Oh, we can help with that. Okay, imagine this. You're Rob. He's on the scene and needs a plan with a mobile hotspot. We cut to downtown. Your sales rep, Lisa, has to send some files, like ASAP.
So basically, I can pick the right plan for each employee.
Yeah, I should have just led with that.
With AT&T Business, you can pick the best plan for each employee and only pay for the features they need.
Hi guys, check out this out right here.
What'd you do?
Tell me how you did it. Yeah. Get a little closer. That's insane.
That's a different car.
That's the same car. Yeah, that's before, that's after. Oh, that's awesome. Make it new with New Finish.
Discover the world with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game, Bingo Blitz. Download now and play for free. Are you coming?
At Jackson Hewitt, we offer safe and easy ways to file with a skilled tax pro. Securely drop off your documents, have them picked up, or upload them and work with a tax pro online from home. Safe and easy ways to file that work around you.
Let's make lots of money. You got the bride, I got the brain. Let's make lots of there's a lot of opportunity.
With Allstate, drivers who switch saved over $700. Saving was easy when you're in good hands. Allstate, click or call to switch today.
Keeping your oyster business growing has you swamped. You need to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. The moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Claim your $75 credit when you post your first job at Indeed.com/promo.
Harlow, Cheeto, Baldwin, King, Cabrera, Camarada, and Blackwell. The best daytime lineup is only on CNN. Weekdays starting at 9 a.m.
Avoid emergency repairs, get more out of your equipment, and reduce your utility bills with the Watts Performance Tune-Up. Servicing all makes and models of furnaces, air conditioners, and heat pumps. The Watts Performance Tune-Up is a smart and easy way to keep your equipment running right. Visit your Portland Metro HVAC home team at wattspdx.com or call us at 503-852-5556. When you call Watts, you'll say, wow, Watts is a Bryant authorized dealer. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Want to help kids get their homework done? Well, an internet connection is a good start. But kids also need computers. And sometimes the hardest thing about homework is finding a place to do it. So why not hook community centers up with Wi-Fi for kids like us and all the amazing things we're going to learn?
Over the next 10 years, Comcast is committing $1 billion to reach 50 million low-income Americans with the tools and resources they need to be ready for anything.
I hope you're ready. We are.
A CNN special, What's Going On? Marvin Gaye's Anthem for the Ages, Sunday at 8.
Closed captioning brought to you by Mesobook.com.
We offer a free book on mesothelioma. Call for the free book and receive so much more. Call 1-800-831-3700.
All right, I got a bolo. Be on the lookout. Truth abuse. Republicans are touting the benefits of COVID relief as they campaign in state. But remember, every single Republican in Congress voted against President Biden's sweeping $2 trillion relief bill. Why? Because they oppose opportunistically, okay? And here we expose hypocrisy. That's the job of this show. The benefits of the package are starting to be felt across the nation. Many of the struggling places have representatives that voted against their own struggle. Vaccine funding that's pushed COVID levels to its lowest point in months. Economic relief, helping businesses open back up. Republicans all over the country are now promoting pieces of the very legislation that they opposed and voted against. Why? Because the opposition isn't about principle, it's out of pragmatism. It is to oppose, to show you are against Biden. They rally the base. We oppose, we oppose, we oppose. Tax and spend socialists. But they can't have it both ways. Not here. This was Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis of New York back in March.
This bill is not tailored to the specific needs of our nation or its citizens. This is an epic fail.
Is it? In the weeks that followed, the first-term Republican would soon issue this. A news release that celebrated $3.7 million from the package toward community health centers in her district as one of her, quote, achievements, unquote. Without shame, she said she prided herself on bringing federal funding to the district and back into the pockets of tax parents. She didn't vote for it. She voted against it. And when she says, I always like this part, it's the other part, That's BS. Okay? Republicans all wanted to go smaller. They said things like the $1,400 checks and the extended unemployment benefits and the health grants. It was too much. It was too soon. Hey, that's fine. Those are legitimate arguments. But keep that same energy now. Don't forget what House Minority Leader McCarthy told you.
Help is not on the way. Help is not on the way.
Now, he's calling attention to a massive fund that would help struggling restaurants, as is Congressman Greg Pence. Sound familiar? He's the VP's he's the VP's brother, the former VP's brother. His tweet reads, "Help is on the way." Here was his brother, VP Pence, speaking against the bill in February.
I rise today because the Democrats' newest proposal is yet again a political statement rather than a sincere effort at COVID relief.
Yeah, that's his brother. That's his brother saying it, not the VP. The VP was railing against it. There he is now. What's the point? Look, this is about having it both ways. Biden now is working to push Republican lawmakers to support his $2 trillion infrastructure plan. The guess? Republicans will oppose. Why? Well, McConnell just told you, right? He will propose to oppose all Biden plans. And if Democrats are smart enough to not give them an escape of due process, go through the process, go to committee, let it be marked up, put it on the floor. Let's see if any amendments from the right are to compromise or merely to kill. Then, when they refuse to help on the right, and it gets passes anyway, bolo. Because if the Democrats muscle this through, you can expect that they will try to have it both ways, but not on our watch. Now, interesting offer. Want a free ticket to the Super Bowl? NFL is now among the many businesses, cities, colleges dangling delicious and tantalizing carrots to incentivize you to get vaccinated. Plus, what could be one of the toughest fronts in the vaccine hesitancy battle? It's coming next.
How great is it that we get to tell everybody how Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance? So you only pay for what you need. I mean, sorry. Oh, what? No, buddy. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
When you don't properly maintain your sleep equipment, you could get sick, and so could your whole family. Sleep equipment manufacturers recommend daily cleaning, and as a helpful complement to your daily routine, SoClean 2 can provide peace of mind.
Order now and save $100. Visit SoClean.com.
When did you see the sign?
When I needed to jumpstart sales. Build attendance for an event.
Help people find their way. Fast Signs designed new directional signage
And got them back on track. Get started at fatsigns.com.
Your skin deserves to glow, and it starts with Vanity Planet. From steamers that cleanse away dirt and makeup with hydroionic steam that leaves your complexion radiant, to brushes that gently exfoliate to reveal fresher, smoother, softer skin, and mirrors that shine the perfect light so your makeup always looks beautiful. Treat your skin to the entire line of skin transforming products from Vanity Planet. You can find them at a retailer near you or go to vanityoutlines.com. Vanity Planet, because good skin is always in.
Introducing Colliders. If you love it, spoon it. Your favorite candy flavors twisted, chopped, or layered into cool, creamy desserts that are made to spoon. New Colliders desserts. Find them near the refrigerated pudding.
You've been very busy at home lately. It's time you got reacquainted with your massage routine. Massage Envy massages will leave you recharged. Buy one 60-minute massage session and get a second session free. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Technologies have the same biases that we do.
Oh, I got a white hand.
If you're going to schools that don't prepare you adequately in STEM, ultimately you're not going to be able to play.
United Shades of America, Debbie Kamau Bell, Sunday at 10 on CNN.
Welcome to the P.
I'm ready to have a real exchange with the men I sleep with. It's less about what people need and more about what they want. I've really enjoyed getting to know you.
The Bennetts really know how to put their Wi-Fi to work, whether it's work,
Works for me.
school work, it works, or a workout. They've got Xfinity, which delivers Wi-Fi faster than a gig for all their devices. It's more than enough to keep everyone working. Can your internet do that? This is work. This is hard.
Now Xfinity delivers Wi-Fi speed faster than a gig. That means you'll have gig speed over Wi-Fi to power a house full of devices. Learn more about gig speed today.
I'm Clarissa Ward in New Delhi, and this is CNN.
Vaccine hesitancy. Keep hearing about it. Yeah, what are you going to do about it? So there are more COVID carrots coming. Will it help get some of the 35 million more who need to get the vaccine so experts can get us to what they say is the estimate of herd immunity? The NFL is in. They're offering 50 Super Bowl tickets to select fans who share their stories about why they got vaccinated or how they plan to. The New York Mets, the Yankees, free ticket to anyone who gets an on-site J&J shot. There's more. Chicago, free concert series. Jersey, university giving students up to $1,000 credit. And if you just want free food or beer, some of the companies out there handing out freebies just to get vaccinated. Will it work? Keep in mind, the next front in our vaccine hesitancy battle is a real problem because it's not us, it's our kids. Let's bring in Dr. Ashish Jha right now. The number here, well, let's make you be a politician first. What do you think about the carrots? Do you think they'll work? Do you think that's the right way to go?
I like them, Chris. Look, the people out there who have not gotten the vaccine yet, a lot of them are on the fence. A lot of them are not sure they want to, but they're also not necessarily opposed to it. If a carrot helps somebody jump off the fence, I love it. I think it's great. And so I think it can only be helpful.
So you hit them with the obvious, right? Some people believe if you get the vaccine, you get the virus. Not true. You may have symptoms that make you feel like you have the virus, but that's the RNA technology, the science, helping the body learn how to fight the virus so it approximates what that fight would be like. So you tell them that 1,000,000 times, that helps with some. Carrots, maybe more. That's not about science, that's about policy making. Now we get to what the problem is, okay? Let's put up these numbers from the Kaiser Family Foundation. I think this is going to be a huge problem. When the vaccine is available, will you vaccinate your kid? Right away, 29. Wait and see, 32. Only if required by school, 15. Definitely not, 19. So you got 34% there that's saying no or only if they make me. Wait and see is a non-descriptive polling category because it doesn't give you an inclination. Right away is only 30%. Those are terrible numbers.
Yeah, here's how I see it, Chris. I'm more optimistic. But first of all, 30% will get vaccinated. I'm in that group, by the way. I'm going to get my kids vaccinated. They're excited to get vaccinated when they can. The wait and see, I totally get it. These are new vaccines. A lot of parents are going to say, just want to see how this goes. And I think it's going to go really well because the data is really good. And I'm hoping that most of those parents then jump off the fence and get their kids vaccinated. And then we may have about a third, who are on that, like, only if you make me or no way. And maybe some schools will push some of those people over. So I remain optimistic here. I know it's a big hill to climb. We got to get all these people on board. But I do think we're going to get there if we just keep plugging away at it.
And you have been wrong every time. You were wrong about your optimism, about testing, about what people would do with mask wearing, about where the cases were going, about how to go with the vaccine. So you're brilliant, and it is amazing what you've done at Brown University with controlling cases. But
and all these people on board. But I do think we're going to get there if we just maybe, well, I group up.
There's only
All right. I just realized there's 2 more viewers and nobody counted the Omer tonight. Okay, so I guess we have to do that. Day, what? 36, 37, 40. 4 weeks, no, 5 weeks. And five weeks and 5 days. I'm going to look for the YouTube link. All right, let's listen to it. The 40th day of the Omer with Rabbi Michael Z. Kazana.
Shalom, I'm Rabbi Kahana. Thank you for joining me for this counting of the Omer during this 6th week of our count.
Whoops, hold on a second. I said share, not.
Shalom, I'm Rabbi Kahana. Thank you for joining me for this counting of the Omer during this 6th week of our counting. Throughout this week, we are focusing on the Kabbalistic ideal of Yisod, of foundation, this lowest element of divinity, but the closest element of divinity to humanity, and that idea that nature inspires us to look up and to experience that divine moment, that divine entity. We are on this day of our counting, on this Friday, we are thinking of the quality of Chod.
Friday starts at sundown on Thursday.
Recognizing our humanity in connection with God's splendor. And as throughout this week we've been talking about the blessings that we say when we see places of God's presence in nature, we are going to think about some of the.
I want to see if it just sent that or not. All right.
The extremes, when we see lightning, when we hear thunder, when we see shooting stars, when we are given a sense of our own humility in the face of the vastness and the power of the universe. The blessing that we say when we experience these things is this. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shekocho ugvurato maleh olam. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of all worlds, whose power and might fill the world. On this day, as we are thinking about our humility, we continue to count as we count every day. So please join me in saying the blessing for counting the Omer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat haomer. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who's given us commandments and commanded us to count the Omer. היום 40 יום, שהם 5 שבועות ו5 ימים לעומר. Today is 40 days, which is 5 weeks and 5 days of the Omer. Thank you for joining us. Shalom.
%. Those are terrible numbers.
Yeah, here's how I see it, Chris. I'm more optimistic. Maybe, like, first of all, 30% will get vaccinated. I'm in that group, by the way. I'm gonna get my kids vaccinated. They're excited to get vaccinated when they can. The wait and see. I totally get it. These are new vaccines. A lot of parents are gonna say, "Just want to see how this goes," and I think it's gonna go really well because the data is really good. And I'm hoping that most of those parents then jump off the fence and get their kids vaccinated. And then we may have about a third, who are on that, like, only if you make me or no way. And maybe some schools will push some of those people over. So I remain optimistic here. I know it's a big hill to climb. We've got to get all these people on board. But I do think we're going to get there if we just keep plugging away at it.
And you have been wrong every time. You were wrong about your optimism, about testing, about what people would do with mask wearing, about where the cases were going, about how to go with the vaccine. So you're brilliant, and it is amazing what you've done at Brown University with controlling cases. But the rest of the country has not been Brown University, at least not thus far. Now, here's another problem that I'd like your head on. That you start losing the political battle if the restrictions are too stringent, because it starts to look like a big brother move. For example, summer camp, okay? CDC guidance, campers and staff still with the 6 feet. Campers with a cohort, 3 feet, 6 feet while eating, drinking, masks all times, few exceptions. This is all a nightmare with kids. And it's been so long, everything's reopening. Families look forward if they're lucky enough to afford camp. I'm Italian, I can't take half of my kids away from me. But for families that, want their kids away, or for people who are more healthy emotionally than I am, this is too strict. Even Fauci said this is conservative and stringent. Why?
Yeah, I think, look, CDC is just playing this super duper safe. I think it's too stringent. Here's what I think is going to happen. As more and more evidence comes in, I think you're going to see the CDC revise it. I think it's going to happen in the next few weeks, and they're going to pull back on most of that stuff. Outdoor mask mandates for kids in summer camp, I don't think so. So I think you're going to see a lot of pulling back of this stuff in the next few weeks, Chris. The CDC often sides on the errors on the side of caution. I do think on this one they're going to pull back.
I had a guy in my marina the other day. Fishing season is here, and I saw him. I put my mask on when I was walking by, and he kind of laughed and he said, "Let me ask you something. You drink?" I said, "Yeah, I love tequila." He goes, "It's terrible for you." I said, "I know." He said, "You still eat meat?" I said, "Yeah, I do." He goes, "It's terrible for you. You're going to get cancer." I said, "Oh, something's going to kill me." He said, "But you're putting that mask on." And I think that there is a balance here. If you've had COVID, if you get the antibodies, if you get the vaccine, they're still masking you up. They're still creating conditions. They're not giving you preferences. It starts to sound like overreach, and it feeds the Ted Cruzes of the world, the Ron Pauls of the world, who are saying they're just doing this because they can, not because they must. That's a problem.
Yeah, here's how I think about it. First of all, I agree with you. Once people are vaccinated, there's very little that they should not feel comfortable doing. These are unbelievably effective vaccines. So, the CDC, great organization, it's got great scientists. They tend to err on the side of caution. They're just very, very cautious people. The bottom line is, I think we're going to have to make some of our own decisions, use science and use wisdom and prudence. And the bottom line is everybody has slightly different risk tolerance, right? There are people who don't drink, don't eat meat, don't do anything that could possibly harm them. That's fine. That's not the rest of us. So I think we're going to have to draw some lines here, and I suspect CDC is going to come more in line with where most Americans are going to want to be, because the summer camp guidance is really just far too stringent.
And then when it's really going to be the real deal, when we'll be talking a lot, school in the fall.
What?
They're not back 100%.
In line. There are people who don't drink, don't eat meat, don't do anything that could possibly harm them. That's fine. That's not the rest of us. So I think we're going to have to draw some lines here, and I suspect CDC is going to come more in line with where most Americans are going to want to be, because the summer camp guidance is really just far too strict.
And then when it's really going to be the real deal, when we'll be talking a lot, school in the fall. If they're not back 100%, we're going to have huge problems. Dr. Ashish Jha, thank you very much. Appreciate you, brother. All right, the U.S., we're making gains on another pandemic front. We have more Americans vaccinated. The economic pandemic is therefore easing, the economic pandemic. But the Wizard of Oz is here. He's going to show us how the turnaround comes with challenges. Forewarned is forearmed. Next.
Why choose proven quality sleep for Sleep Number?
Thanks for having us.
Because a good night's rest is where muscles recover and our minds are restored. The new Sleep Number 360 Smart Bed is temperature balancing, and it helps keep you asleep by sensing your movement and automatically adjusts to keep you both effortlessly comfortable. Perfect for those relaxing weekends. Proven quality sleep is life-changing sleep, only from Sleep Number.
We miss being together, but you can still feel a strong sense of community with custom gear from Custom Ink. We've developed new tools to make it easy for you. Custom Ink has hundreds of products, including masks, to help you stay connected. Upload your logo or start your design today at customink.com.
Dignity. It demands a rapid COVID test because we all deserve an answer. It demands your heart stays connected to your doctor so you know it's beating as it should. And a rapid test to help evaluate concussion in case something can happen. At Abbott, we fight for these moments, developing life-changing technologies because dignity demands it.
Discover the world with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game, Bingo Blitz. Download now and play for free. Are you coming?
First up is this exquisite bowl of French onion dip. I'm going to start the bidding at $5. Thank you, sir. Looking for $6. $6 over there. I hear $7. $7 in the front. $7 going once, going twice. Salt of the onion lover in the front row. Next up is lot number 17, a spinach and artichoke dip, beautifully set in a hollowed out loaf of sourdough bread.
Don't get mad, get E-Trade and get more than just trading. Investing, banking, guidance.
Hi guys, check out this over here. What'd you do?
Tell me how you did it.
Yeah. Get a little closer.
That's insane.
That's a different car.
That's the same car. No, that's before, that's after.
Oh, that's awesome.
Make it new with New Finish.
What can I do with less asthma? Dupixent. I can do more. Beginner's yoga. Namaste. Surprise party. Aw, you guys. Dupixent helps prevent asthma attacks. For free! So I can do more of the things I love. Dupixent is not for sudden breathing problem. It's an add-on treatment for specific types of moderate to severe asthma that can improve lung function for better breathing in as little as 2 weeks and can reduce or even eliminate oral steroids. And here's something important. Dupixent can cause serious allergic reactions, including anaphylaxis. Get help right away if you have rash, shortness of breath, chest pain, tingling, or numbness in your limbs. Tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection, and don't change or stop your asthma treatments, including steroids, without talking to your doctor. Are you ready to do more with less asthma? Just ask your asthma specialist about Dupixent.
Carvana's had a lot of firsts. 100% online car buying, car vending machines, and now putting you in control of your financing. At Carvana, get personalized terms, browse for cars that fit your budget, then customize your down payment and monthly payment. And these aren't made up numbers. It's what you'll really pay, right down to the penny. Whether you're shopping or just looking, it only takes a few seconds and it won't affect your credit score. Finally, a totally different way to finance your ride. Only from Carvana, the new way to buy a car.
Dick Cavett was one of the last great shows where anything could happen.
I remember one show where Lester Maddox, the segregationist governor of Georgia, he's on with Jim Brown.
Why don't you apologize to the people calling people that admire bigger?
If I called any of your admirers
bigots. We're not bigots. I apologize. We got excited and got offended, but yeah.
The story of late night, Sunday night at 9 on CNN.
All right, there's a big jobs report out tomorrow, and it is expected to show more people heading back to work. Yay! So the president went to Louisiana to push his jobs plan. Listen.
American Jobs Plan is a blue-collar blueprint to rebuild America. A blue-collar blueprint to rebuild America. To supercharge our economy so we can move goods, get to work, become more competitive around the world.
I wonder if they'll start letting us wear sunglasses on TV now. It was always a no-no, but the president's doing it. All right, let's get into the numbers, okay? In terms of the practical and the politics, the Wizard of Oz, Harry Enton, is here. First, let's start with the basic. How do we feel about the economy?
We're feeling pretty good about it. Look, and this is amazing to me. You know, go back at the beginning of the pandemic, 65% of Americans thought it was poor. Even at the beginning of this year, 56% of Americans thought it was poor. Now only 45% feel it's poor. 54% it's good. You know, the last time we went through an economic recovery in the late aughts into the 2010s, it took about 9 to 10 years to see this type of turnaround, and we've seen it in just a year span. So it's pretty clear that Americans are liking the way that things are going right now, at least significantly more so than they did even at the beginning of this year.
Did you just say the aughts?
I think I did say the aughts.
I thought you did too.
Why not?
Why not? The jobs report, does it matter in the inclinations of Republican voters?
You know, not really. I mean, I don't believe so. I mean, look at this. What is a very big problem according to Republicans right now? Look at that. 72% say illegal immigration, just 36% say unemployment, and the condition of infrastructure, right? Biden's really hoping he might be able to bring some Republicans along with him on that one. Just 23% say the condition of infrastructure is a very big problem. Here's the deal. We don't really vote on economics anymore, Christopher.
Who's we?
Americans really don't. For the
Anybody?
Not really. I mean, during Trump's term, what we saw was for the first time, even as the economy was getting going, it really had no correlation with his approval rating. This is what we've seen as we're going into a deeper and deeper era of polarization, is that there's been this disconnect between how people feel about the economy and how they feel about the president. And it's something that folks like myself are continuing to study. But I mean, one thing you can just note is that as soon as Biden took office, Republicans' views on the economy tanked, and Democrats' views on the economy went sky high. And I can tell you the economy didn't change overnight. The only thing that changed overnight was the president. Everything is about social issues these days for the most part. And more than that, it's about the party that you belong to.
So imagine if Donald John Trump had not seen the pandemic as an existential threat to the economy and listened to what you're saying and said, hey, let me play the pandemic. And I'm going to be the pandemic guy. If the economy gets hit, it gets hit. They don't vote on that anyway. I'm going to play to being the wartime president and the security guy. We may be in a very different leadership position today. Let me ask you something. I want to skip to your fourth point. I'm hearing about this in so many sectors. The economy's coming back. Places in the service sectors want to reopen, but where are the workers? What are you seeing?
Yeah, this is something that's so interesting. If you just look across a ton of different blue-collar industries, you see in construction, factories, restaurant, trucking, what you see is that a lot of these places are reporting that they cannot, in fact, get people to show up to actually go to work for them. And this is a very strange thing about this economic recovery that we're seeing so far, is that, I think the pandemic screwed with the economy in a way that a lot of people weren't used to, and businesses decided to do certain things. So, for instance, what we saw was that they didn't necessarily put into place the necessary precautions in order to ensure the workers that they can stay safe from the coronavirus, right? We've seen a lot of unemployment packages that have come out. It's not clear what's exactly causing this.
You know what the right says? The right says that people are making more money not working than working, so they don't want to come back to work until the checks stop in September.
That's certainly the case for some folks. There's no doubt about that.
Even though that check is as small as it is, doesn't that mean that their wage structure is that screwed up?
Yeah.
That you'd rather make the unemployment level relief check than the pay that you're making? So what does that say about our pay scale?
I mean, that basically tells you that we're not paying people enough, right? I mean, I think that's the easy conclusion from that data, and we should pay people more if we
Is
keep
there
it.
any other reason that they can't find workers?
Well, I think that there's as I pointed out, one reason why is if you're trying to put folks in a factory and you don't have the social distancing that's necessary, I think that's a big problem. We saw throughout the early parts of the pandemic that a lot of folks in these factories were getting sick because the companies were not putting into place the necessary proper precautions to ensure that those workers could in fact be safe. So I think that there are a lot of different potential possibilities that are going on here. But the fact of the matter is there's no doubt that even though the economy is improving, that there are still some major issues in certain industries just luring people back to work. And it's not just about luring people back to work. I would love to go to slide 3. I know you skipped it, Chris.
It's because I'm out of time.
Well, I would just say this, and that is that there's supply shortages as well. So we're seeing it throughout different parts of the economy, right? You know, my fried chicken's become much more expensive to buy because we're seeing shortages of that. Ketchup has become much more expensive to buy, or at least there's been shortages of it because people have been having a lot more takeout food and you put those little ketchup packages in. So things have become really bizarre in this economy. There's no doubt it's getting better, but it's a bizarre economic recovery in a lot of ways.
It's more expensive for you too also because I'm not paying for it as much. Harry Anton, thank you very much. We'll be right back.
Thanks, sir.
So then I said to him, you ought to customize your car insurance with Liberty Mutual, so you only pay for what you need. Hot dog or chicken? Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
When did you see the sign?
When I needed to create a better visitor experience.
Improve our workflow.
Attract new customers. That's when Fast Signs recommended tweet graphics.
Yeah, now business is rolling in. Get started at fastsigns.com.
I have an idea for a trade. Why don't you call TD Ameritrade for a strategy gut check? What's that? You run it by an expert, you talk about the risk and potential profit and loss. Should have used that before I hired my interior decorator.
Get a strategy gut check from our trade desk.
The light. It comes from within. It drives you and it guides you to shine your brightest. As you charge ahead, illuminating the way forward, a light maker, recognizing that the impact you make comes from the energy you create. Introducing the all-electric Lyric, lighting the way.
The moment Proactive started working, I felt relieved, empowered.
Get that clear skin feeling with our 3 skincare systems. Proactive's got clinically proven ingredients to clear skin and dermatologist tested to be gentle. Subscribe today, risk-free at Proactive.com and get this free charcoal brush.
When the threat from fire and water damage is at its biggest, hand the cleanup over to the team that stays with you until even the smallest detail is taken care of. From ready to restore to rebuild. 1-800-CERTPRO, the #1 choice in commercial cleanup and restoration.
Pineapple.
Yep.
Okay, my turn.
Raspberry. Oh, no. Peach raspberry.
Hey! Did you guys fill the tank up with Hennigan?
No.
Hint, water with a touch of true fruit flavor.
This is one of the greatest albums ever made.
Marvin Gaye's What's Going On. 50 years later, why is it an anthem for a new generation? A CNN special, What's Going On, Sunday at 8.
What makes Discovery Plus the greatest collection of real-life entertainment on the planet? Do the math. 55,000 episodes. Plus, from nearly 20 of your favorite networks. Plus, 200 exclusive originals every year for just $4.99. Oh, it's the best value in streaming. Sweet deal. It's a winner. Is everything you're into.
You can't make this stuff up.
Unbelievable! Discovery Plus. Stream what you love.
There's so much to do and see in your hometown. While you may not be able to experience it all today, get ideas for the future by taking in your city as it's featured in hit TV shows and movies. Stay Hometown Hub into your X1 voice remote and select your city to get instant access to a library of TV shows, films, and more. Plus, check out listings of local businesses that are currently open and ready to provide the services and products that you love, all relevant to the city of your choice. Stay connected with Hometown Hub, powered by Effective.
Well, let's get right into the news. Nothing could be funnier than that.
10 p.m. Eastern. That means it's time for the big show, CNN Tonight, and it's big star Dean Lemon. I'm telling you.
You said that before you go. I used to work at, before you go on, Channel 5, WYW. Do you remember that?
No.
You know, Channel 5 here.
Well, I know what it is, but what were you asking
It's
me if I
10
remember?
p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Yes.
Remember that?
I remember that.
Yeah.
It was very helpful.
The way you said that reminded me. But go on. Sorry.
Yeah, maybe my next job. So I'll tell you, people, I get why. I'm watching it, social media. I'm hearing it from people when I ask them on the radio. Yeah, no, we get it. The big lie. Yeah, that's their thing. I mean, they're just kidding themselves. You're sleeping on something that is going to punch you in the face.
Yeah.
It started as laughable. Then it became lore, right? This kind of mythological learning. Now they're making it law. And come the midterms, you can bet your donuts and coffee that the Republican platform is going to be, they're stealing this election from us. Yeah. And it is going to be hard to rebut because our election system is anything but perfect.
Yeah. Well, here's the danger, and you're right. And I've been preaching this every night. Everyone says, and I know you hear it, you guys still talk about the Republicans, you're still talking, Republicans aren't in power. Well, the Democrats are in power, barely. But then, you know, they've got Joe Manchin there. Does that really put them in power? Because he is more centrist or center-right as a Democrat than he is anything else. So you have that in the Senate. But what's happening in Washington, where the Republican Party is, you know, half of the controlling party in Washington, D.C., it affects everyone. It doesn't just affect the Republicans. And with the midterms coming up, Republicans are going into the midterms with momentum. They're going into the midterms with these new voting restrictions in place. They're going into the midterms having gerrymandered many districts in their favor. And so if you're, you know, I know you're sitting there saying, hey, you know, why are you still talking about Donald Trump? Because he has a stranglehold on the party, and the party is acting the way that they are acting and restricting voting and being obstructionists because of the big lie and because they are beholden to who?
Do you say his
the
name?
former guy.
Do you say his name? The president, as Elise Stefanik calls him.
Yeah, right.
The president. She wants to work with the president. Doesn't mean Biden.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I had a too easy a night tonight, so I'll give people a reason to come after me on the way home when they're not watching you. It'll be
Let's
this.
get after Chris. Go on.
This will be it. Here's my feeling. HR1 S1. I don't know that Joe Manchin can hold on to his position of believing it's worthy of compromise because it is not an economic package. It's about voting rights, and it's the only way to fight back against redistricting. On the flip, I think Joe Manchin is right about what he's arguing for Democrats to not short the process, put things into committee, have it marked up, have amendments on the floor, let the Republicans be exposed for what they are and are not. And if you blow up the filibuster, and I think it comes from an unholy place, and it wasn't intended by the founders, and I don't know that it's been used for good reason.
It hasn't.
But I'll tell you this. The Democrats, you blow it up, okay, it will be revisited upon you in a way that you will never have imagined because they are better at this than you people are.
But if they don't get rid of it, it's a catch-22. If they don't get rid of it, and
they will not get H1S1,
and they may never see power again because the minority will rule.
That is the argument, and that is their strongest argument to Manchin, and I think there are a couple other ones. But if we don't stop this, they will change the law state by state, and we'll never have time to fight it in court before the election.
He talks a lot, doesn't he? I was holding my breath. Almost passed out.
You really think that I talk more than you do?
What? Have you ever?
Yeah. I'm right here.
Chris, I'm going to put a timer. We're going to do a timer one night. We're going to do a timer one night. But let me just say this. So having said everything that we just said, there could be an issue. Republicans may be overcorrecting, overcompensating, because they may be blocking their own people more than they think from voting in the upcoming elections with what's happening. That is a huge concern by many, many Republicans as well.
They used to vote early more often than
Yes.
Democrats, but that was before they spooked them not to early vote anymore.
Early tease. We got a big announcement. We can't say what it is. It's coming up. You'll find out about
don't
it soon.
you
Don't
dare.
say it? Okay.
Don't. No.
Okay. All right.
What do you live to get us in trouble? Is that
See ya.
D Lemon, I love you, and I'm looking forward to what comes next.
You more. I'm with you on that. This is CNN Tonight. I'm Don Lemon. So let's break it down, okay? All right. A lot of it's what Chris and I just talked about. I'm going to go in depth for you. This is what's happening in America today. One party is trying to build while the other party wants to tear down. One party is trying to
Okay, I'm out. Bye.